Get robbed! Only
on The Fan Upstate.
You know, a painful reality about life is that sometimes bad things happen to good people. You know, sometimes you can do everything right. Sometimes you can put the work in, put the effort in, and sometimes you're just not rewarded for it. Sometimes you're just not rewarded for it. And
thank you for talking about all radio producers out there.
I was obviously talking about you, except for.
No, I'm rewarded constantly. I shouldn't have said all.
Sure,
I said all other. Me. Yeah, there's that.
Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes you can put in all the work. You can do all the right things. And yet you're just not rewarded. You're just not rewarded for it. Like, for instance, yesterday, I had a great day yesterday. Did all the right things. Went to the doctor yesterday to look after my health. Went to the nutritionist yesterday to check in on my eating so I can take care of myself. Went and did some extra things here and there for the fiance, not requested by her, so that when she got home from work, she'd be able to go, oh, this is very nice, and relax a little bit. I did all these things yesterday. I did not even take a nap yesterday. Okay? I did everything right. And then after putting all that work in, I stayed up last night to watch the Pelicans and the Thunder, and my team got destroyed in front of my very eyes after they coulda, shoulda, woulda won game one. After I thought they did everything that they could do, and unfortunately a bad bounce of the basketball down the stretch cost them their ability to win the game, I thought for just the briefest of seconds there, hey, we got a shot here, fellas. We got a chance. And hey, as the Beatles once said, all we are asking is give the Pelicans a chance. I think that's how that song went.
Yeah, I think Ringo had something to do with that. You know, I was going to play the crying sounder. I don't even have the heart. I don't.
I think it would have been the first time that you actually hurt my feelings with the sound clip there. I stayed up. I thought, hey, the boys came out last game, game one. The boys came out and put some good work together. Maybe they found something here. Maybe they got something going here. Maybe we've given ourselves a shot in this series. Even Mario, hating-ass Mario, who, as you can pick up from his name, is a hater. Even hating-ass Mario texted me yesterday, and he said, yo, I think I'm going Pellies plus 7.5 tonight. I think it's a good bet. I might go money line. And I was like, hey, they've even won over the hating one. Like, we've given ourselves a chance. What a bleep show that was.
All right. At the risk of actually getting the hate, is it time to move on from Zion? Because you can't count on him. This is when you need him the most. And you can't count on him. You couldn't count on him last year. You couldn't count on him on the year before. Why take the salary hit that you're taking from a guy who's not going to be there when you need him the most? I'm just maybe it's time to move on because you're doing pretty well without him. I know you got your butts beat last night, but you're in the other game without him. It just is it time to go? All right, we need someone who's actually going to be here. Maybe not as good as him, but actually on the floor and participating.
If he didn't play the whole, if this guy would have missed like half the regular season again, and you're the 8 seed because he missed half the regular season, then I would say yes. The guy played the entire regular season, and if he doesn't jump one weird way, he's playing. And if he doesn't jump one weird way and he's playing, this series is 1-1. New Orleans wins game 1. They probably lose last night because last night the Thunder decided that they were just going to be an offensive juggernaut. There was nothing that we could do last night. 1-man game, 2-man game, 3-man triangle, 5-on-5. It did not matter what we forced the Thunder to do.
They're showing highlights now, and it looks pretty effortless.
They were knocking down
OKC.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. Like there was nothing that we could do last night. In fact, there was here, I'll even take off the bias hat for a minute. Dude, we were getting calls last night, and they were still beating our ass. We were getting the whistles were in our favor as the road team last night, and we were still getting our asses whooped.
You think the refs felt sorry?
I don't know, because again, like I go back to game 1. Lonzo, if I told you the results of game 1 were flipped and it was 1-0 Pelicans coming into this one, then this would have made sense, much like it did with Miami and Boston last night.
Miami and Boston, yeah.
Yeah. This performance from Oklahoma, and this is why I went from last night in one half of basketball. I went from, I think the Thunder are far and away the most overrated team in the West to that team can beat that team can beat Denver. If that team plays that basketball against Denver and they do it consistently, even every other game, that team can beat Denver.
It looks like Holmgren did the whole thing with his eyes closed, like he was sleepy. He looked really sleepy.
Bro.
You think that's what it is?
I don't.
I believe the testing is not that stringent when it comes to that in the NBA, so it is a possibility. I thought he looked bored, but
dude,
which is horrible.
It was easy for him last night, man. It was easy for him last night. Like he wasn't even uncomfortable, man. He looked like it was just, hey, go to work, right? Lunch collar, or what lunch collar? What's it called? Lunch pail mentality. Blue collar lunch pail mentality.
Yeah, lunch collar is a totally different thing.
It just looked easy for him last night. It looked easy for Shai last night. Shai didn't even, they got to the end of the first quarter. And Shai and who was that? I think J. Will had 0 points, and they were up 12 points at the end of the first quarter. Shai didn't score a point in the first quarter. They were up 12. It's like, how? It's one thing if, Shai, if SGA and Chet are both being SGA and Chet at their best, and they get you. That's one thing. But they weren't. SGA was just getting the ball at the free throw stripe and distributing. It's unbelievable. And then you look over at the other game that happened last night. Those are the games, Boston, that prevent anybody from having any faith in you. Now, I don't know, so that we are clear. I don't know what, if anything, the Celtics could have done last night. I don't. I don't know what they could have done last night, because if Miami is going to do like a vintage Golden State Warriors impression and knock down 1 billion threes in the game, I genuinely and honestly do not know how it is that you get around that. I mean, they were unbelievable. They were unbelievable. That is the Miami Heat team, great one, that every time the playoffs start, everybody goes, Espo, Miami, watch out. They click in a different gear. No Jimmy Buckets. I was going to say, I thought they were cooked.
No Jimmy Butler. And Tyler Hero stepped it up.
I thought they were cooked last night without that guy. Thought they were cooked without Jimmy Buckets, and it was like they like Dr. Strange swapped his consciousness with Tyler Hero's somehow. It was incredible. So we're going to talk a lot of basketball later in the day. I would like to welcome back Brad Marchand to the list of guys that I hate the most in sports. Everything that Draymond Green is in the National Basketball Association, Brad is that but worse. You know how great one over the years when you and I are doing stuff and talking about different things on the air, every time we make up a metaphorical guy that we hate, right? It's so-and-so down in accounting, ruining the whatever. Have you noticed that my go-to nickname is always Brad? It's Brad.
Yes.
It's because of this guy. It's because of this one guy. Brad Marchand last night, who won the game for the Boston Bruins on at least 3 occasions, was just ripping sticks under the skates of Toronto players and just yanking the legs out from under him. And I do not understand. Brad Marchand has a superpower. And that superpower is the ability to know when 0 on ice officials are looking at him. I don't know how he does it. Like, I'm going home after the show today. I'm firing up my copy of NHL 2024. I'm immediately going to play as the Bruins just so I can check Brad Marchand's awareness rating, because it's got to be 3,000 out of 100. I don't understand how in the hell this guy, for years and years and years and years, has gotten away with this crap over and over and over. And he did it again last night. I truly don't understand it. The guy's like a I don't know, he's like a video game character, man. You know how, like, when you're playing a crime video game, GTA or whatever. You know how when you're playing a video game, Lonzo, what's the Metal Snake series? You know how in that series,
Solid Snake.
Yeah, Solid Snake. There's this yeah, but is that the name of the video game? Or is that the character?
Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid. You know how in that game there's been the running joke
the
for
game,
as long?
The game that I bought because Mark Ryan couldn't get past a certain
Checks out.
Well, one of that and Uncharted 3, I think it was, or Uncharted
Checks
4.
out.
Yeah.
You know how there's the running gag in that game for years that the protagonist, whenever he gets into trouble, can pull out a cardboard box, hide under it.
The
And
cardboard
it's like the
box,
best stealth thing in the world.
it's the most stupid thing in a
Right.
video game ever. Yes.
It's the biggest gimmick in like any franchise anywhere. Mario has his mushrooms, Sonic has his rings, and this guy can pull out a cardboard box, cover himself, and he can literally just walk up to bad guys and he's unnoticed.
It does work in the office, though. You throw a cardboard box that you can hide in it. Well, we can't hide in it. There's some smaller people here who could hide in a box.
Still, man. So this is...
It might be roomy for him. Let's see if he's listening.
This is what Brad Marchand somehow does with on-ice infractions, man. Like, I don't know how he gets away with it. It's like he goes Metal Gear and pulls a cardboard box over his head and then absolutely rips penalties on both ends of the ice. And then he takes the cardboard box off and the refs are like, who, where? Who? Penalty? Who? On Brad? No, not Brad. The guy notorious for, doing that over and over. Easily my most hated guy in sports right now. Brad, you know what the thing about Draymond is? At least the majority of Draymond stuff doesn't impact the game, except when he's spinning back fist guys in the nose, right? Like he doesn't foul in a way that roughs up the game. Brad does, and I can't stand him, man. I can't stand him. I'm gonna inevitably get the tweets later from some bros that are going to be like, Rob, You just don't understand hockey, dude. You just don't get it, man. That's just how it works. No, it's not. No, it's not, man. It's absolutely not. It's a garbage take. It is. All right, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back here in just a minute, we have 16 picks in the second half of the Rob Brown Show mock draft. We got to go 17 through 32. We're also stacked up later in the show because at 8:40, we're going to be joined by Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation Podcast. At 9 o'clock, we'll be joined by Hayton Ass Mario Heron from the BetQL Network to check in on the NBA playoffs. And at 9:20, it's Thursday. And you know what that means. Fight Club with the great Malonzo checking in on the worlds of boxing, MMA, and pro wrestling. That's at 9:20. It's all coming up on a very busy program. Ladies and gentlemen, when we return, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock with pick 17. That's coming up next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Listen on your phone. Download the Odyssey app
I
and
sent you
search.
something on Twitter, and I know you haven't watched it yet. And I know it's spoilery, but it needs to be talked about.
From the News Talk
So,
98.9
before Fight Club,
WORD Weather Center, here's the Carolinas most trusted forecast on the
3
Fan
minutes
Update.
long, maybe 6
Sunshine
minutes.
today with our high nearing 79. Mostly cloudy overnight with a
It's
low
what
around
happened at the
54.
end of
Some rain
AEW
showers are
last
possible
night.
on a
If you
Friday,
don't know
cloudy with
about
a high
it,
of
do not.
69, and
Yeah.
rain early Friday night, then cloudy with a low around 57. Cloudy and 75 into Saturday, then mostly cloudy and 58 Saturday night. I'm meteorologist Kara Foster on the Fan Upstate. Currently, it's 55 degrees.
What's up? It's Rob Brown. Listen, America's #1 fantasy sports app, Prize Picks, lets you win up to 100 times your money, and it is easy. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Get them right and get that money. You think Tiger Woods will have a great round? Pick more than 3 birdies. You believe Freddie Freeman will struggle in his next away game? Pick less than 2 bases. It is simple, and it doesn't matter what sport you love. Baseball, basketball, hockey, golf. Get your picks right and win. My last baseball play was a winner, with Ozzie Albies getting more than 2 bases, Ronald Acuna Jr. getting more than 2 hits, Merrill Kelly throwing less than 5 Ks, and Tyler Glasnow giving up less than 4 hits. You add in one of their special promotions, and my win was worth even more. Over 3 million active users are playing and winning right now, and you should be next. Sign up right now and use code BROWN, and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. That's code BROWN for a deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Pre-spring in South Carolina means using the AC during the day and the heater at night. When your HVAC unit stops working, you need a company you can trust. Priority Heating and Air HVAC specialist will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business comfortable and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or find them online. Priority Heating and Air.
I can't believe you haven't seen it yet. When the
HVAC.com.
wrestling guys get on here in a half
Want to get in
hour,
on some round 1 draft day
first thing
fun?
to
Head
probably
out to
go
Dave &
to.
Buster's on Woodruff Road for a jam-packed
wrestling
live
guys.
show.
With me, Diesel.
And me, Cole Bryson, from the Fan
I
Upstate's
did the,
Wire to Wire.
Today from 3 to 7 p.m.
Don't
did
miss
the
the big
Beatles show
draft day
last
kickoff
night.
party at Dave & Buster's.
Your game day headquarters.
If you need bold
By the
banners to
time I
boost
got
your
back to the
business,
house,
but you're on a budget, think Staples.
I'm
Posters,
watching
flyers,
television
signs, and
game.
menus for
I-
less.
I'm gonna
Think
be real honest
Staples.
with you.
Staples
I
can
turned
print
off
anything you
television
need to
game
move
about
your business
halfway
forward. Now at
through
Staples, save
the third
$50 on your
Yeah,
full
we-
purchase of
you
$150
should
or
have.
more. Same
It
day
was
service
trash.
available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples,
I'm watching
your
the
local
thing
print
happen.
and marketing expert. N61, visit staples.com/print for details.
Get out of it, and what a horrible.
Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why we sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Find new items launching exclusively at Lowe's, like the self-leveling laser level for just $159.98. Plus, shop the Connect socket set for just $49.98. Get Klein tools in-store and online today, because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows pros.
Sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. It's time to experience the thrill of the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com. It's free to play. Play for fun and no purchases necessary.
Oh, I can't talk about it till you watch it.
18 plus terms and conditions apply. VG
They made that
no
part
purchase
again,
necessary. Void where
too.
prohibited by law. See terms and conditions.
The Fan Upstate is your headquarters for the 2024 NFL
Right,
Draft.
I have it
Wire
ready.
to Wire with Cole Bryson and Diesel live from Dave & Buster's in Greenville today from 3 to 7 p.m. While we're there, stop by and get a free $20 power card and 15%
You know what, you're
off
getting
Dave
three,
&
what's
Buster's
it?
great food. We'll count down to the start of the picking process with expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and
Sorry for
insider
being
scoops,
practical.
plus the best live coverage. It's time to fan up with the NFL Draft, only on the Fan Upstate. Your guide to the gridiron, the maestro of the matchups, and the keeper of all things cool in the sports world.
Cool.
This
What's
is
that?
The Rob Brown Show. Oh, yeah. Lonzo's here, too. This is the Fan Upstate.
Be cool, man. I am cool. Like Carlito, I'm so cool. The Rob Brown Show mock draft got underway yesterday. 32 selections across the first round. No trades. The reason I'm going no trades is first and foremost because I don't want to. But the reason I don't want to do trades is because I genuinely think there could be that. I think today goes one of two ways. I think that we are either going to have like no trades or we are going to have a load of trades. And there, I don't think there's in between. I don't think we're going to have like 2 or 3. We're going to have none, or we're going to have like 9 in the first round. So I didn't want to deal with that and try to sit there and come up with fantasy trades for like 11 different moves around the front round. So no trades. And after the first half of the mock draft, here is how it shaped up, picks 1 through 16. The Chicago Bears selected Caleb Williams, quarterback out of Southern Cal. The Washington Commanders selected Jaden Daniels, the quarterback out of LSU. The New England Patriots at the 3 spot took Drake May, the quarterback from North Carolina. In the 4 spot, the Cardinals took Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State, the wide receiver. The Chargers, drafting at number 5, selected Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver from LSU. The New York Giants took Washington's Rome Odunze at wide receiver. Joe Alt, the offensive lineman out of Notre Dame, the first player off the board to the Tennessee Titans at 7. At 8, the Atlanta Falcons, in a selection that Falcons fans did not love, Byron Murphy II, interior defensive lineman out of the University of Texas. At 9, the Bears back on the clock. This is a trade down spot. I think so far the trade down spots are New England at 3, Arizona at 4, Los Angeles at 5, Giants at 6, all trade down spots. Chicago Bears at number 9 is a trade down spot, but we're not doing trades. I've got them taking Jared Verse, the edge rusher out of Florida State University. At number 10, the New York Football Jets. I want you to know that I locked in my mock draft. And then yesterday, I thought about it and I thought about it and I thought about it and I thought about it. And I changed my mind. I'm already locked in for this and I can't change it now. But I want you to know I changed my mind. And it changes the next handful of picks. Lonzo, the New York Jets should take Brock Bowers at 10.
A lot of people have been saying that.
Yep. I changed my mind last night. My thought was going into this thing, you got to go offensive line. You got to keep Aaron Rodgers safe. And if you go with Olu Fashanu, who they selected in my mock draft at 10, you get a big dominant left tackle who excels in pass protection. This is a good way to keep Aaron Rodgers upright. But Brock Bowers, that's it, right? Like I sat here in the exact same hour of the show talking about how incredible Brock Bowers is, how he might be the best breakout offensive player in this draft. And he was right there to give Aaron Rodgers a legitimate threat target crossing the field either direction. I'm not going to change it. I'm already locked in. But Brock Bowers would have been the right selection there for the New York Jets at number 10. Instead, I have them taking Olu Fashanu, the offensive lineman out of Pennsylvania State University. At number 11, the Minnesota Vikings selected Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback out of Washington. At number 12, the Denver Broncos, they kind of get what's left. J.J. McCarthy, quarterback out of Michigan. At 13, DeRadis went Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo. At 14, the New Orleans Saints selected Talisa Fuaga out of Oregon State, the offensive tackle. At 15, that's where Brock Bowers comes off the board at tight end to the Indianapolis Colts. And at 16, the Seattle Seahawks selected Troy Fatanu, the offensive lineman out of Washington. And that, ladies and gentlemen, pits the number 17 pick on the clock. It belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with the 17th pick, that pick is in. With the 17th overall selection in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Dallas Turner, edge rusher, Alabama.
Dallas Turner, edge rusher, Alabama.
Jefferson gets the snap. Everybody deploys, and Jefferson is going to go down. The third sack of the day. Dallas Turner, and what a time for that sack right there.
Named the SEC Defensive Player of the Year and a consensus All-American, Turner was a reliable impact playmaker on defense for the Crimson Tide. His raw athleticism turned heads at the combine, running a 4.4 40-yard dash and leading all linemen and linebackers in the vertical jump. Turner was a force in college and profiles as a future dangerous pass rusher at the NFL level.
Like this pick for Jacksonville, I've already been asked once, why is he so low? This is a guy that graded out for a lot of people up towards the top of the edge rush spectrum. And I'm not going to tell you, because he's a speed edge rusher only. He does not have a power. I mean, I don't want to say he does not have a power edge. He's a big, strong boy for sure, but he is not a predominant, balanced guy. It's not like he can beat you with speed or he can beat you with strength. He beats you with speed. He's got phenomenal initial quickness. If he beats a block, it's because he's faster than you. He doesn't run through you. He does not take on blocks and then shed them very well. And on top of that, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people don't see, because if you're watching highlight tapes, if you watch a highlight tape, what do you see? Highlights. You don't see regular snaps. This is why I tell people, if you want to go back and you want to really get an evaluation of a guy, go watch their tape playing FCS schools. Go watch their tape playing low-tier Power 5 schools. Don't go watch Alabama LSU when when Dallas Turner, has got it turned on. Don't go watch that tape where he's going full tilt out there. Go watch the tape where they're taking on, I don't know, Vanderbilt. Go watch the tape when they're taking on South Carolina. Go watch the tape when they're taking on, pick another bottom, Mizzou. Because those are the games where you find out if the guy really loves to win, really wants to win, or if the guy shows up when it's time for the cameras to be on him. And this guy, to some degree, kind of strikes me as the latter. He's a speed rusher, seems like a great dude, builds a lot of momentum up, and if he does, he kills you. But if a tackle gets a first step and gets the hands into the shoulder pads of Dallas Turner to where speed is negated, he does not have the strength to beat, I think, even the average offensive tackle. That's why I had him drop this far.
All right, this is a great pick, but according to the NFL and other sources, Tony Khan may not be there tonight to help make that pick.
I did see that.
And because of that, if they pick something weird, you blame the elite.
I did see that. Now that you bring it up, it did show up on my social. Fight Club, 9:20 this morning. We're going to be busy.
The NFL official dropped questionable.
Did they really?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Incredible.
People want to know if Tony's going to show up wearing a neck brace.
That'd be hysterical, dude. If he brings kayfabe to the draft, that'd be amazing.
You need to watch the end. Shad came out there. That's why you need to watch the end. When Daddy comes out there.
We're going to be talking about that in Fight Club coming up at 9:20. Shane says that Dallas Turner doesn't need to be the primary pass rusher in, I quote, Saxonville.
That's a good moniker. We'll see.
That's an earned moniker, dude. That's an earned. You can't gloss yourself.
Someone has to coin it, so then you take credit for it when it happens.
It may be a little early. Eric Armstead's down there. The other Josh Allen is down there. Just the one Josh Allen.
That other Josh Allen's pretty good.
He is pretty good. Well, he had Pro Bowler last year, wasn't he?
I
Or
believe
real
so.
close to it. All right. We got time for one more. We need to go to a break and then do it on the flip side. Great one. You tell me.
Let's go to break.
Let's go to break. When we come back, the 18th selection in the 2024 mock draft. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to be flying through picks today because we got Rashad Beard coming up at 8:40. We got Hate and Ask Mario at 9 o'clock. We got Fight Club at 9:20. So we basically have the 6 and 7 and half of the 8 o'clock hour to run through 17 picks. So in the next hour, we'll get in the next segment, we'll get Cincinnati, the LA Rams, and the Pittsburgh Steelers all in the next segment of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
And on the Odyssey app.
Upstate.
I have the theme from a different world stuff.
Here's the Sports Flash presented
I bet
by
Rob's never seen
Progressive.
it before.
In Detroit tonight, it's the first
It
round
was
of the
out in the
NFL
90s,
draft.
though. It's
Carolina
possible.
has 7 picks, no first-round selections, but 2 in the second. The Braves outlasted the Marlins 4-3 in 10 innings in Atlanta on Wednesday. Miami tied it in the top of the 9th when 2 runs scored on a Matt Olson error. In the bottom of the 10th, Michael Harris was the hero. He doubled home Ronald Acuna Jr. Marcel Ozuna singled home a pair of runs. Day off for the Braves today. Then on Friday, they open up a series against the Cleveland Guardians. 2-1 Chris Sale next up in the rotation for Atlanta. 3-0 Logan Allen scheduled to get the start for Cleveland. They got shut out 8-0 by the Red Sox on Wednesday, but they're off to the best start in franchise history. Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, the Hurricanes looking to go up 3-0 on the Islanders. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
Wow,
Download the
that's
Odyssey
not
app, search
good.
the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Up to the minute, upstate traffic. Westbound 29 Warren Abernathy Highway is sluggish on the approach to I-85. You'll start slowing down before Priority Street. After you pass 85 on the way to Hampton, it's smooth sailing to Greenville. A look at the Cordell and Cordell traffic cams, and they show 85 is running at posted speeds both directions between Greenville and Spartanburg. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm Bill Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
What's the room again?
1240, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it.
Come on.
Try flipping it over.
Seriously, why can't you I'm tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Pluto TV is as easy as it is free, and it's totally free. With over 300 channels and thousands of TV shows and movies, finding what you love has never been easier. Just download the app. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Hey everyone, Boomer Esiason here from Brakes to Exhaust Kits and Beyond. eBay Motors has over 122 million parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to bring home that kind of big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com.
All right, today.
Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
From the Ingles Market Studio.
Tigers, Gamecocks, Panthers, Paladins, and Rebels. Punch your ticket to the best local sports. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. Always streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey app.
Upstate.
Early birds get the sports scoop. The Rob Brown Show, now morning 6 to 10.
On the Fan Upstate.
Rolling through the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft. We went 17 with the last pick. The Jacksonville Jaguars selected Dallas Turner, the edge rusher from the University of Alabama. Remember, no trades in this draft, okay? So we move on to number 18. That is the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Bengals pick is in. With the 18th overall selection in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, The Cincinnati Bengals select Laiatu Laiatu from the University of California, Los Angeles, whose draft profile just disappeared. There it is. I found it.
Laiatu Latu, edge rusher, UCLA.
Latu coming in hot on Williams. He's got him. Sacks him back at the 13-yard line. You could smell that one from all the way up here. Latu was just revving his engine, ready to get down the block, and he just teed off on Caleb Williams.
Beginning his college career at Washington, Latu suffered a severe neck injury in 2020 and temporarily retired from football. He then transferred to UCLA, returned to the field, and made an immediate impact on the Bruins' defensive front. Last season, he led the nation in tackles for loss per game and led the Pac-12 in sacks. There is still some concern about his medical history, but if he stays healthy, Latu should be a dangerous pass rusher in the NFL.
Yeah, I like this kid a lot. Injury concerns are the issue. As you heard in that profile, stepped away from football. He had a major neck injury that he suffered while he was at Washington. Thought he was going to be done with the game, was able to go through therapy, did make his way back to football. And once he did, very, very good player. I love him as a player. There are some concerns that I have. Not excellent pursuit angle speed. If he gets beat to the corner, the average NFL running back is going to beat him to the sideline. And I'm not saying you got to outrun the running back. What I'm saying is, if a running back gets across your face, your job is to stay in the back pocket to chase him as far east-west as you can so the cavalry can arrive. And he does not have that speed.
A lot of disgruntled people in Cincinnati right now. More and more people saying they want out.
T. Higgins wants out. Yeah. Trey Hendrickson wants out. But that, for the record, I had this pick already made, but if Hendrickson is requesting a trade, and the report came out that he is, if Trey Hendrickson is indeed requesting a trade, this now has to be your pick. This has to be your pick. You have to go with an edge rusher because you have lost the best one you had. Trey Hendrickson had 17 and a half sacks last year. You have to replace that. Latu is probably your best chance to do it. Whoever is available at this spot, either Dallas Turner or Latu, has to be the guy. There's some things I like about this guy a lot. He is very, very good as a quick win rusher. He fires off the football, and he's going to have a pass block beat relatively quickly, similar to Dallas Turner. There is a versatility to his pass rush that not a lot of other guys at the position have. What I mean is you can line him up inside and he can go outside, and he can go inside, heads up, and he can go either direction. He understands angles in the pass rush. That's hard to teach a guy. That intuition, that being able to line up and look and go, all right, my guard over there, even though I'm on the tackle, my guard over there is cheating a little bit the other side. I know if I get that quick first step, I can get off his ankle and either beat the tackle across his face or beat the guard across his face or whatever, or make him block me in that direction and open up a gap, open up a hole for a second-level pass rusher to get through. I like this guy. I'm concerned about the injury, but the talent is there to the point that I think I'd be willing to take the risk. Now, obviously, if we see Latu drop, and he might, if we see this guy start dropping down to the bottom half of the first, you're going to know that the injury concerns became a big deal to scouts and GMs around the league. If the injury concerns aren't a big deal, this is around the spot, maybe even a little higher I expect him to go. But if the injury concerns pop up, we can see this guy drop down the board just a little bit. Let's get another pick in here. The 19th overall selection in the 2024 NFL Draft belongs to the Los Angeles Rams, and the pick is in. With the 19th selection in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the LA Rams select Terrion Arnold, the cornerback out of the University of Alabama.
Terrion Arnold, cornerback, Alabama.
He throws one long into traffic. Intercepted by Alabama. Intercepted by the Crimson Tide's Terrion Arnold. He'll spin through traffic. He's around the 40 to the near sideline, 43-yard line. Terrion Arnold.
As physically gifted as any corner in the 2024 draft class, Terrion Arnold can be a difference maker in both the pass and run games. He's versatile in coverage and has the ability to fit either a man or zone scheme. His technique could use refining, but he has all the tools to be a high-level NFL corner.
Terrion Arnold. Before I get to the draft profile, can I just say, great one, I'm going to miss Eli Gold. Alabama did that guy dirty. I do not know why you let Eli Gold go, because Eli Gold has said, I'm not leaving because I want to. He didn't say that, but he said that. They did him dirty, bro.
You either work till you retire or they retire you.
Yep. He didn't. He was not ready to go. Eli Gold. I was having this conversation with Cody Decker about John Sterling this past weekend on Bet for the Cycle. John Sterling, of course, had been the play-by-play guy for the Yankees for like 60 years. And he stepped away. Allegedly, he stepped away. And he was rewarded with a TV set. Way to go, Yanks.
Yeah, whatever. Nice TV.
So Deck was like, John Sterling, man, how do you feel about John Sterling? Legend, right? And I was like, nah. Like, John Sterling held on to that kind of 50s style radio. Aaron Judge at the dish now. Judge looking for his 14th home run of the year.
He didn't sound exactly
Man,
like
see,
that.
man.
Yeah, I did. It's just because of who he was the voice of, probably.
It's not.
Okay.
It's
all
not.
right.
I hate Yankees fans. I don't hate the Yankees. I just wasn't a fan. It felt like old guy who tried too hard, but he didn't have the energy to sell it. I wasn't a fan of John Sterling. Eli Gold, I was. Eli Gold was the best. Eli Gold has had a lot of impact on the way that I approach calling games. Not call them, but approach it. Loved Eli Gold. Also a phenomenal dude. I've had Eli Gold on shows many times in years gone by. He's a phenomenal guy. Eli Gold was the best, man. I can't tell you. I met Eli Gold in press boxes 5 or 6 different times over my career. Never failed to take a second to say hello, shake a hand, tell a story, whatever. Eli Gold, phenomenal dude. And I got to tell you, not that I didn't already do it, great one, but there's going to be a little bit of me that's rooting against Alabama this year because of how they did Eli Gold. Dirty. All right, Terrion Arnold, cornerback, going to the LA Rams. Another guy I like a lot based on potential, not so much technique. As a press coverage cornerback, he is the best in this draft. This is a dude I am bringing in to lock him up on ones, to put him on wide receivers, and to say, hey, I want you in that dude's jersey. I want your head sticking out of his shoulder pad head spot. I want you wearing his jersey with him. And he can play that. I'm also going to tell you, he is a phenomenally quick guy. Real quick acceleration. Not great at closing out on balls that are going to be caught. Gets a little hesitant in that moment. And that concerns me a little bit. But if you're throwing the ball anywhere around where he is, he's going to make it real, real tough for you to catch the ball. Now, I'll tell you this. If you break the press on him, if you're a wide receiver that can throw him off with the double move or can throw him off with a quick change of direction and you shake him, on the release, he gets a little indecisive. Couple of wide receivers beat him last year because they figured out, I need a quick move. He's going to be up in my grill on the press. I cannot run routes that are sustained first direction. I can't just run a 9 on Terrion Arnold. I can run a deep route, but I got to throw a quick move out of the break at him. Now, that is an advantage for Terrion Arnold because it means a guy like a T. Higgins, since we're talking about him a minute ago, as a guy like a T. Higgins, you can't just release. You've got to throw a move. You've got to throw a double move. You got to throw something to shake out of his press to get to his weak spot. And what does that do? It shortens up routes. T. Higgins on a straight 40-yard 9 route is not going to reach the same spot on the field for Joe Burrow as T. Higgins, who's got to hit a double move, then go on the fly. Number two, if that is the case, it means that when T. Higgins gets by Terrion Arnold, he's in prime safety coverage spot. He's going to be in the zone where safeties don't really have to get the hips turned, face the other way, and go on the run, which is where safeties get beat on deep throws. That is the one thing that you got to be concerned. The only other thing that I'm concerned about with this guy is he does not have a great natural instinct for jump balls. He is not a ball hawk. And when you start talking about some of the receivers that we have talked about in this draft, there's a lot of jump ball guys. There's a lot of jump ball guys that, hey, I'm going to throw it up about 19 feet up in the air, and I'm going to let it be a fight. I'm going to let somebody go up and get it, and I trust my guy. Terrion Arnold isn't the guy to defend that play, which means you're going to have safety help over the top to take that away from guys. But as a physical player, I like this kid a lot, and I like this draft selection a lot. The Rams, I think, aren't going to have an issue scoring points. They just can't get into 35, 32, 42, 37 shootouts this year. They've got to slow down offenses. Terrion Arnold can help with that. Let's go to one more selection in this hour of the show. It is time for pick number 20. And with the 20th selection in the 2024 NFL Draft, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the pick is in. With the 20th selection in the 2024 NFL Mock Draft of the Rob Brown Show, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, the Louisiana State University.
Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, LSU.
Snap is back to Daniels. Pump fakes. Now airs it out towards the end zone. One-on-one. Brian Thomas! He grabs it. Finishes the play in the back right corner. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Hey now!
Alongside Malik Neighbors at LSU was Brian Thomas Jr. He broke out last season with a whopping 17 touchdowns for the Tigers. At 6'4" with explosive speed, some scouts believe he has the second best skill set of any receiver in the draft. His route running needs fine-tuning, but he has terrific upside.
Don't be shocked if he goes dramatically higher than this. Don't be shocked if somebody trades up for this cat. Don't be shocked if somebody before here picks this cat. Don't be shocked if somebody neglects a need to go most talented for this cat. This guy, if Malik Neighbors didn't play at LSU, this guy would be the guy. If Malik Neighbors didn't play there, Brian Thomas Jr. would be the guy. There's not much I don't like about him except for one major deal. The one major deal that I do not like is that if it's not designed for him, he can turn into a lazy route runner. One thing I do not like, he does rely on his speed a lot. And that makes sense because he might be, in fact, I think he measured out to be with a 4.33, the fastest wide receiver in this draft. I think he is faster than Adunze. I think he's faster than Neighbors. I think he's faster than Marvin Harrison Jr. One thing that happens to a lot of players when they have a thing that stands out. We talked about this yesterday with, was it Jared Verse, I think? One thing that jumps out for me about a lot of players is that they have one, if they have one part of their game that they excel at, they start to lean on it. If they have one part of their game that they are the best at, they start to lean on it. And I think Brian Thomas Jr. does that with his speed. I think at LSU, he became a bit of a lazy route runner. Why? Because Malik Neighbors was the primary. And because Malik Neighbors was running the crossing routes, Brian Thomas Jr. was the guy that you said, hey, turn on the afterburners, torch that guy. If we're open, we're coming to you. And if not, you're stretching the field for Malik. That's your job. I think he's a true one wide receiver. I think he's very fast. I think he could absolutely fit into the exact same slots and spots that Malik Neighbors fits into, that Justin Jefferson has fit into, that Jamar Chase has fit into, kind of that role of a very healthy mix between speed and routes, but he's going to have to stop relying on the speed, and he's going to have to get better about his route running. He gets a little lazy in the cuts, and that will get you beat at the NFL. These cornerbacks, these safeties at the next level are real good. They're real good. They understand how to look at your hips and be able to know what you're doing before you do it based on just the littlest twitches in your body. And if you are a lazy route runner, you give away the game before you ever play it. And that's going to be the biggest problem for Brian Thomas Jr. at the next level, is not giving away the game. He's got the talent to be a star at the next level. My question mark is, does he have the work ethic to be at the star at the next level? Does he have the work ethic at the next level to fix the little things, to get into and out of the breaks, get into and out of the cuts? Don't let his body give him away to defensive backs before he starts making the moves he needs to make in order to get himself open. So that brings us to pick number 20. Dallas Turner to Jacksonville at 17. Cincinnati, Latu going at 18. Terry and Arnold, the cornerback from Alabama, going 19. And Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver of LSU, going at number 20. Here's how the show's working out. Next segment, we got your water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know. Then, after that, we are going to get as many of these picks in as we can in hour number 2. Because in hour number 3, we got 2 segments, then Rashad Beard at 8:40, Mario Heron, Hate and Ask Mario at 9 o'clock, Fight Club at 9:20. And if we don't finish, we'll finish out the draft in the last hour. If we do, what the X is going on. There's your roadmap. We're booked, all right? But before we get to any of that, before we get to those things, the guy who is a 5-star.
Wait. You forgot about something that we really need to talk about. I mean, we got a couple minutes here. We do. Did you know that Wire to Wire is live at Dave & Buster's today? Did you know? You probably should know that, but some people out there didn't know that.
What?
They should know that.
Wire to Wire with Cole Bryson and Diesel live today at Dave & Buster's in Greenville. They are on the air from 3 to 7. And your boy will be on the air with them from 5 to 7 doing draft talk with Diesel and Cole. So you get Diesel and Cole from 3 to 5. You got Diesel, Cole, and Rob from 5 to 7. And then we are all hanging out because it's NFL Christmas, baby. Draft day, round 1 starts at 8 p.m. tonight. So 3 to 7, Dave & Buster's, Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel. I will be there and on the air with them from 5 to 7. It's going to be a great day. Come on by.
Whatever you do not walk up and talk to Cole while he's talking, because he's probably talking on the air. You probably don't want to do that.
I'm going to do that.
I'm curious. Who are you sitting next to?
Oh, I got to sit in the middle, right? I got to sit in the middle.
No, you can't do that.
I'm the star of that show.
That's a show. You know, you can't split the show. You're going to have to pick one side or the other. Do you go with your ex or do you go with the new guy? Who's your choice? Who are you sitting next to?
I miss him so much. All right, now that we've made it weird.
You're going to be distracted by the beard if you sit next to
Everybody's distracted by the beard.
That's true. But if you can be on the far side, if you can be on the other side, like next to Cole.
You think he has a polo that fits, or do you think he has a polo that says, look at me, I'm a schmedium? I'll find out. I'll report live.
Yeah, well, I mean, all I see is the beard. I don't notice anything else anymore.
3 to 7, Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel at Dave & Buster's today. And I will be there with them from 5 to 7 talking draft on the radio. Y'all playing. I'm coming on by. Let's play some video games and get ready for the draft. You know what else you should get ready for? Lonzo to charm your pants off literally with this sports flash.
That's me, Lonzo Charming. 2 games in the association last night. In game 1, the Heat lit the Nets on fire. knocking down 23 3-pointers on the way to a 111-101 win over the Boston Celtics. Tyler Hero had 24, including 6 threes, and Caleb Martin had 5 of his own, scoring 21. The Celtics played only 8 players, and only 3 of them ended in double digits. The series is now tied 1-1. The Thunder looked like the 1 seed last night as they dominated the 8 seed Pelicans 124-92. OKC prevented New Orleans from ever getting a rhythm offensively, limiting New Orleans to just 45% on only 73% field goal attempts. We talked about it before. Let's talk about it again. Join Wire to Wire today as Cole Bryson and Diesel broadcast live from Dave & Buster's in Greenville. Come out and hang out with the guys as they get you ready for the first round of the NFL draft. 3 to 7 this evening, Dave & Buster's.
Up to the minute, upstate traffic. Highway 13 and I-385 up from the Simpsonville area are both in good shape for you to enjoy. And so is 123 in from the west. The Cordell and Cordell Jam Cam shows southbound 85 with the normal slowdown as you pass through the diverted lanes, barrels, and roadwork signs. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm Bill Brooks on The Fan Upstate.
At Ingalls, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag.
You said there was something you wanted to tell me during a break.
Love the savings.
Step away for 30 seconds, guys. We'll be right back.
The all-new 2024 Upstate.
Visibility and a 40%
increase
in new users for scratch-made Asian cuisine. Visit your local PF Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. PF Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world, turning to the best in the business for websites. Go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show. It's BetMGM tonight, Monday through Friday.
I
from
don't
7 to 11,
notice
only on the
complete
Fan.
confidence in your tone.
Is the Red Zone for casual and hardcore sports fans. Live sports betting updates for all of the night's games as they happen. Get the latest scores, sides, totals, props, parlays, futures, and much more with real-time.
I think there are a lot of people here
sports
saying about.
entertainment tonight at 7. BetMGM tonight, exclusively on the
Fan Upstate
and on the Odyssey app. Your morning jolt of sports. It's the Rob Brown Show.
Nick, I care about what you have to say about college football. You are still a power player. Don't hit me with the old man, President Eisenhower. I don't care. Those days are gone. When Henry Ford built the Model T, I don't care. I don't care what he thinks about the Nissan Altima. It doesn't matter. He's been out of the game so long that his feelings and viewpoints are irrelevant to it. Please stop using, we got to do what's best for the athletes as a justification for doing what you want to do. Nothing drives me crazier.
I don't know
when
that.
Somebody says, well, we have to do this once you think of the kids. And it's like, it's really funny that you want to do it for the kids when you know it's going to make you rich as hell. Don't be hypocritical. These college athletes are better off now than they have ever
I did
been
take
in
out the
this
part where
sport.
I'm asking Nissan Altima. Why are you doing? Why that? That's very specific. Yeah.
And it wasn't even like they were like
morning 6 to 10 on the Fan.
Upstate.
6 in the morning.
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show. It's
And that's what I
BetMGM
brought back to
tonight, Monday through Friday from 7
Which-
to 11. Only on the Fan.
Upstate.
BetMGM is the red zone for casual.
Hey, Chris,
and
go ahead and
hardcore
close the
sports
door.
fans.
Let's take a
Live
risk.
Sports betting updates for all of the night's games as they happen. Get the latest scores, sides, totals, props, parlays, futures, and much more with real-time, relevant sports.
You know, if I was a manager, he would close that door.
BetMGM tonight, exclusively on the Fan
Upstate.
and on the Odyssey app.
Upstate.
WYRD Greenville.
WORD Spartanburg.
WFBC HD3 Greenville, the official sports voice of you, the Upstate Fan. The Fan.
Upstate.
An Odyssey sports station.
Man, check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Get robbed.
Only on
The Fan. Upstate.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk is what you are. Unbelievable. And you know, you know what you did.
I mean, if
you know what you did.
If the host wants to get 8 seconds, by the way, if the host wants to get up and go open the door back up, the host can do that.
The AC has been out for a couple of days, and it just came back on. But
Allegedly,
the AC is like a whisper. Well, we've had the door open because we went through the show yesterday, sans AC. And Lonzo and I being a couple of sturdy fellas.
He's a big ass boy, is what he is. God dang.
There were some pit stains going on yesterday.
and this morning. I mean, it's just, I mean, you know.
And so today we left the door open. We're like, sorry to literally everyone else in the building. You're going to have to deal with it because I cannot sweat through another shirt. Okay. I was like, I had to shower when I got home yesterday. And so we left the door open. Zoe tells Captain America Chris Evans down the hall during the break, hey, shut the door on your way out. To which I said, no, I'm fat and sweaty. And that's the only way it's going to be cool for like the next half an hour because the AC is going to take a minute. And Lonzo waits until the intro bumper plays to then get out of his chair and go close the door because I can't do anything about it now. You know what you did, and you did it on purpose.
I absolutely did it on purpose, and I laughed my whole way over there. Here's the other thing, and it's just my way of thinking. I'm not an engineer, but with the door closed, the thermostat, I think, can work better because it understands what the exact temperature is in the room. If that thing is affected by what's in the room, it's going to be affected from the air in the hallway, and it won't detect that it needs to get cooler. By the way, it's already gotten cooler since I closed the door. And yes, I can tell because I'm just I'm smarter when it comes to that stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He's smarter at feeling things.
I am a knower of air.
Sweaty. You're sweaty. You're sweaty, man.
So?
You're sweaty, man.
It's a big deal.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is.
If you can't handle my manly musk, there's the door.
No, I can't. Let's be clear. It is officially 7:03 in the morning. You have 57 minutes on the dot until you have to check in at the office. You got to log in, put in the old password, clock in, get ready to rock and roll, answer some passive-aggressive emails, tell the boss it's a lie that you totes went above and beyond working on that project late last night, and you swear it's going to be done today. And then you're going to not work on that project. Instead, you're going to walk down the hallway. You're going to head down to the break room. You're going to gather with your coworkers around the water cooler, and you are going to talk sports, my dudes and my dudettes. And if you're going to do that, you got to know what's going on in the world of sports. And if you got to know what's going on in the world of sports, my friends, you need to know these things in today's water cooler cheat sheet.
Shut the hell up.
Nailed that one.
It might have been directed at someone. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, Rob, how dare you have the audacity of being warm and not wanting to
By
be.
the way,
What a jerk.
why is everything all about you? There was somebody else in this room just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, but he's not in this room now, is he?
Doesn't mean he's not watching.
Well, I don't think Chris cares if the door's open or not. I care. I'm a sweaty fat boy.
Choices were made, consequences handed out.
You made the choice. The consequence of the choice to close the door is that I'm sweaty again.
You know what? I am curious as to what number one is. Trying to stick us on the clock, which we discussed earlier about how we need to stick to the clock, and you're just trying to go somewhere.
Number one. The NBA playoffs roll on. 2 games in the books last night. It began with the Miami Heat, who entered this game as 14.5 point underdogs. They won by 13. It is the third largest point upset in NBA playoff history. 14.5 point dogs. They win 111-101, in no small part because of the fact that they knocked down 23 three-pointers on 53.5% shooting from range. The sniper rifles were out last night for the Miami Heat, 23 of 43 from deep. They were 37 of 75 from the floor overall. You were led with 24 by Tyler Hero, 21 from Caleb Martin and Bam Adebayo. Jovic had 11, and Watkins Jr. had 14 on the night. Over on the other side, you got exactly what you expected. 33 out of Jaylen Brown, 28 out of Jason Tatum, 13 out of Derek White. It was Kristaps Porzingis who disappeared last night. 1 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 4 from the arc, 4 free throws made for 6 total points for Kristaps Porzingis. Bam Adebayo slapped the handcuffs on him last night. And to me, that was the difference in this game. I was listening to the end of this matchup on the drive home last night from the concert that I went to. And like you could hear in the voice of the Boston play-by-play guy that there was no hope, there was no optimism for a late game comeback like the Knicks had the other day when they were down 5 with 30 seconds to play and they ended up winning the game. There was no optimism there for Boston. It was actually a real good game. Miami won the first quarter by 1. They trailed by 3 at the half, but they ended up winning the third quarter by 9. And at that point, Boston just couldn't get anything going. That series now tied at 1 game apiece, heading back down to South Beach. The New Orleans Pelicans, dude, we suck. We suck. They gave me so much hope back in game 1. No Zion, still almost won the game. Bad bounce of the basketball, bad shot selection to wrap it up. I thought, all right, the boys got a chance. The boys can make something happen here. The boys got beat by freaking 30 last night. 124-92 your final. Don't even worry about games 3 and 4. We don't need to play them. I don't want to watch them. Go ahead, move the Thunder up in the bracket because my team suddenly forgot how to play basketball. What the hell?
Hey, Rob, at least your team made it to the playoffs.
Yay. Huzzah.
So this is like a really huge deal.
Yay.
You're sending mixed signals there. Is it a big deal or is it not?
We're ass, dude. We suck. We suck. 124-92 is your final in this one. Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones with 18, 19 for Jonas. If Jonas Valanciunas is our leading scorer, we're cooked, bro. We're cooked. On the flip side, 33 for SGA, 26 for Chet Holmgren, 21 for Jalen Williams, 15 and 13 for Dort and Giddey, respectively. They shot 59% from the floor. Ball game. If an NBA team shoots 60% from the floor, they're winning the game. That's it. That's how it goes. 60% from the floor, 48% from three, 90% from the stripe. That is going to win you 95% of NBA basketball games. And if you lose a basketball game going 59, 48, and 90%, it's only because the other team did better. It's unbelievable. Defense sucked for the Pellies. Offense sucked for the Pellies. And I'll have you know, I also listened to the end of this game, well, the beginning of this game on the drive home, but I had to listen to the Oklahoma City Thunder radio. Every time Oklahoma City hit a three, Lonzo, you know, every radio guy has like their thing for the big moments, right? Touchdown, Rebels, like you all have your thing for the big moment. The radio guy from Oklahoma City, whenever the Thunder would knock down a three, he goes like this, and I quote, "Cha-ching the Thunder bunny ball." That's his call for a three, and not like a three. Every three. Cha-ching the Thunder money ball.
Is that like when you yell Kobe every time you take a shot?
Yes, but I don't have tens of thousands of people listening to me. Cha-ching the Thunder money ball.
You could have that.
Here comes Holmgren down the outside, pushes it to the right, reverses back around outside to Jet. Oh, and by the way, he called every player only by their nickname. Only by their nickname. Jalen Williams, he calls him J-Dub, and that's all he called him in the game. Never skips it around to Williams on the far side. No. Skips it around to J-Dub. Cha-ching the Thunder money ball.
All right.
Bro, stop.
So I'm just guessing here, but demographics for the NBA probably skews younger, and the younger audience probably enjoys the nicknames.
Using the nickname's fine. Only using the nickname is I'm sorry to say, speaking of the use, cringe, bro. J-Dub brings it around. There's Giddey on the outside, skips it over to Holmgren. Holmgren for three. Cha-ching the Thunder money ball.
Wait, Holmgren doesn't have a nickname?
Chet. No. J-Dub had one. J-Will had one. SGA had one. K-Dub had one. Cha-ching the Thunder money ball. Stop.
There's a pot and kettle thing going on here. I just want you to know that.
Nicknames are fine.
Okay, because
not only nicknames are fine.
I've never met anybody who nicknamed more than you do. So
I nickname all the time.
Yeah.
But then I also use Cha-ching the Thunder money ball. Shut up, dude. Just say three. Just say buckets. Splash. Strings. Literally any Cha-ching the Thunder money ball. That's not a good call. All right, that's just a personal thing I had to get off my chest.
I like take that stuff out of the sports flash when you put it in.
Cha-ching the Thunder money ball.
Because I don't talk that way. So, right. Okay.
Dude, a whole ass NBA game of, there were in that game like 42 made three-pointers. Cha-ching the Thunder money ball. Cha-ching the Thunder money ball.
I'm just guessing if you're a Thunder fan, you're like, yeah,
then
that's my guy.
Either say cha-ching or say Thunder money ball. Don't say both. It's too much.
Luke on the stream says zibbity dibbity alley oopity.
That's my new 3-point call. Next time I call a Furman game, that's what I'm going with. Item number 2 on the water cooler cheat sheet. Handful of games around the Stanley Cup playoffs last night. The Bruins knock off the Maple Leafs 4-2. Brad Marchand had 2 goals in this game last night. And also, I hate Brad. Brad's the worst, dude. Brad's the worst. He's the worst guy. He's the worst hockey player. He's dirty. He's gross. I don't like him. He had a real good game last night. 2 goals last night for Brad Marchand as the Bruins take the series lead 2-1 in that one. The Golden Knights are 1 game closer to eliminating the Dallas Stars for the 317th consecutive year in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They now lead this series 2-0 after a 3-1 victory over Dallas last night. Dallas opened the scoring off the stick of Jason Robertson on the power play earlier, but then Jonathan Marchessault, Noah Hannafin, and Jack Eichel got 3 consecutive back for the Golden Knights. They put away the Big D, and I do mean Dallas. And finally, an overtime thriller last night as the Kings knock off the Oilers 5-4 in that one. That series now tied up at 1 apiece. The Kings got 2 out of the gate. The first period ended 3-1 in favor of LA. The second period, all Edmonton, as Dylan Holloway and Zach Hyman both netted goals to bring it level at 3 apiece. Kevin Fiata got the go-ahead goal. Dylan Holloway got his second to equalize, and less than 2 minutes and 10 seconds into OT, Anze Kopitar got the win for the Kings last night. The Kings now have leveled that series at 1 game apiece. Let's quickly get to item number 3. I'm doing this one just because I despise MLB umpires. They're the worst. They're like the Brad Marchands of baseball. Yes, that is the reaction they should get every time they come out on the field. About 9 people gathered yesterday to watch the LA Angels of Anaheim take on the Baltimore Orioles.
You said 9 people.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's
about 9 people were there.
All right.
Because that team sucks. Replay review of an initial out call on Joe Adell's attempted steal of second base would have put the tying run in scoring position with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning was reviewed and not overturned, despite the fact that video evidence showed that the call was wrong. Like, you got to go, we use the term you got to have indisputable video evidence. There was. I saw it. It was real bad. Replay review of an initial out call did not encourage the umpires to overturn the call. The Angels were working the comeback last night. Instead, a 6-5 L to the O's, their 6th defeat in 7 games. That game was absolutely blown. The Angels trailed 6-0 midway through the 6th, cut their deficit to 2. By the time that Craig Kimbrell took the bump for the 9th, a 2-base error and a run-scoring groundout made it a 1-run game with 2 outs. Adell worked a full count walk and took off for second on the ensuing pitch from Kimbrell, who is notoriously slow to the plate. At least one camera angle show Adell's right foot touching the edge of second base well before the glove with the ball touched the top of his right leg. But second base umpire Nick Lentz called him out. The Angels challenged the call, triggered the delay, and it did not get overturned, which was, let me use the best, most eloquent word that I can for it. That's the best I can describe it. You know what I mean? This is the frustration that I have when people go, oh, Rob, why are we wasting our time with replay? They get it wrong. Yeah. Do you understand? I'm mad about this too. As pro replay guy, as pro tech guy, I'm mad about this too. Because if these calls were overturned as they should have been, as they should be, when there is incontrovertible, empirical evidence that the call was wrong, then y'all wouldn't have a reason to be mad at replay, and it would be easier for me to sell it. There's your water cooler cheat sheet, top 3 sports stories that you need to know. When we come back, we have gotten through 20 picks in the 2024 NFL mock draft. We go to 21. The Miami Dolphins are on the clock. We talk Dolphins ball and run through at least 2 picks in the next segment of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Prize pick.
All right, guys, quick live reading, then we're coming right back. Y'all do me a favor, stay right there. are you going to do? Minnesota Vikings, Michael Penix Jr., quarterback out of Washington. I think he jumps J.J. McCarthy, who I've got going 12th to Denver at 13. The Raiders take Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo. The Saints take Talisa Fuaga, the offensive tackle out of Oregon State. Brock Bowers going 15th to Indy, 16 Seattle. Troy Fatanu, offensive lineman from Washington. The Jacksonville Jaguars in today's first pick went Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Alabama. The Bengals, Latu, edge rusher from UCLA, going 18th at 19th. Terrion Arnold, cornerback, Alabama, goes to the LA Rams in the 20 spot. The Steelers take Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver out of LSU, and that brings us to number 21, the Miami Dolphins. And ladies and gentlemen, the pick is in. With the 21st overall selection in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select J.C. Latham, offensive lineman from Alabama.
J.C. Latham, tackle, Alabama. Taking over after Evan Neal went to the NFL, Latham hit the ground running as a stalwart on the Crimson Tide offensive line. In 2 years, he allowed just 2 total sacks and was a difference maker in the run game as well, thanks to his massive size at 6'6" and 360 pounds. He can have issues with quicker edge rushers, and his footwork needs improvement, but scouts believe Latham will only continue to develop as a pro.
He's a big-ass boy is what he is. God dang.
6'6", 360. You want to know what's fun about J.C. Latham? 6'6", 360 plays like a guard. Can play tackle, probably will play tackle, but plays like a guard. Plays like an inside offensive lineman, built like an offensive lineman on the outside. It's very, very interesting because I think he could be very, very versatile for the Miami Dolphins and give them a lot of different options. So here are some of the things I like about J.C. Latham. Number one, very quick to establish his pass block. Very quick to establish his pass block. He has got a firecracker of a first kick. That ball snapped. J.C. Latham is in his pass pro set before a defensive lineman's hand comes off the ground. He is very, very quick. Second thing I like, he is very strong. His first pop will disrupt a lot of guys. We talked yesterday about Jared Verse, a guy I love as an edge rusher. J.C. Latham is exactly how you counter a guy like Jared Verse. You hit him with an initial pop that is so tough that I don't care how big, strong boy you are at DL, you're going to disrupt that guy. And I think J.C. Latham possesses that knockback explosiveness that you want out of an edge setter. But again, it also allows him, because of his versatility, to be an outside or an inside defender. I don't know which direction they're going to go, whether they play guard or tackle, maybe some hybrid of both. We'll find out. He's also an immensely strong player as far as his ability to lock onto a block and not release it. D linemen know they're going to make contact. The question mark is, can they slide out of that contact? Can they slip that contact and get into the backfield? It's very hard to do against J.C. Latham. There is one issue that J.C. Latham's going to have to deal with. He's going to have to learn how to read pre-snap defensive looks. He's going to have to get better about recognizing when stunts are coming his way. Because when he is one of the better blockers in this draft when he's heads up 1v1 versus a guy. But when you start running DL guys across his face, when you start running guys in stunts and slants and cross patterns, etc., at the line of scrimmage, J.C. Latham can be a little bit slow to recognize and get comfortable in those spots. The other thing, you remember that quick step I talked about? That fact that he can, bang, he's in pass pro before a D-line comes off the ground? That's fantastic. The problem with that is if he rushes into that pass pro set and he gets up and he fires into that, sometimes he gets that momentum moving too far back. And if he does meet a defensive lineman that is equally as quick off the football and they can get to him before he's able to recover and set that center of gravity back over his feet. If they get to him and that center of gravity is still back over his back foot because he kicked back too fast, he can be pushed backwards. It's rare, but it can be done. And obviously at the next level, everybody's an elite athlete. J.C. Latham ends up going 21st overall to the Miami Dolphins. Do I have time to do 22 here, great one, or should I push it off? All right, we'll push it off. When we come back, we go to pick number 22. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock. In the next segment of the show, we're going to run through at least 3 of the picks. Philly, Minnesota, and Dallas. We will try to fit Green Bay in as well. And then we're going to have to speed through the back half of the first round because at 8:40, Rashad Beard joins us. At 9 o'clock, Hayden Ass Mario joins us. At 9:20, Fight Club with a great one. And then we wrap it up with what the X is going on, all coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Opinions, analysis, and entertainment all rolled into
You got 3 in
Sports
last
Talk
time in
Show.
this
This is the
segment.
Rob Brown Show
You could
on
actually
the
get in
Fan
4
Upstate.
possible.
I'm Chuck Sanders.
This is a
Here's
short
the Sports
break.
Flash presented by Progressive. Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. The Hurricanes looking to go up 3-0 on the Islanders in Detroit tonight. It's the first round of the NFL draft. Carolina has 7 picks, no first-round selections, but 2 in the second. The Braves outlasted the Marlins 4-3 in 10 innings in Atlanta on Wednesday. Miami tied it in the top of the 9th when 2 runs scored on a Matt Olson.
Thank you, Steven.
Thank you, Steven.
My defense, it was really hot in here when we first got in here. It's still not cool, but it's working its way
Would have
down.
been cool if the door was open.
No, it wouldn't have. It's I'm very confident. Even looked it up to see about, closed doors versus open doors when the thermostat is right next to the door. And plus, if it wasn't working like we were told it wasn't working, it would be easier for us to tell. Why did it skip that? The heck? Didn't skip it. It played it. I'm stupid. You've got 45 seconds. You can get up and open the door.
Oh, no. I wouldn't.
I mean, if you do, there's no guarantee that as soon as you start talking, I won't run
That's
around
exactly
and close
what
it
I'm
again.
I wouldn't
I'm going to have
go
fun
against-
where I can have fun. And this is all because I asked him to close the door and he was starting to do it. And then you said no. And this is just a power move. That's all it is.
Well, you are a manager.
No, I'm not. Not
You're my
according to
manager.
him.
I work for you.
Don't give me the moniker Alpha and Omega and not expect me to act that way. We're testing the scientific theory here.
Oh, are we?
I think we are. It's already gotten cooler, but it's not blowing out like it normally would.
We have made it up through the Miami Dolphins and pick number 21 who select J.C. Latham, the offensive lineman out of the University of Alabama. I'm going to miss that from Eli Gold. That brings us to pick number 22. It puts the Philadelphia Eagles on the clock. And ladies and gentlemen, the pick is in. With the 22nd overall pick in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Cooper DeJean, cornerback from Iowa.
Cooper DeJean, defensive back, Iowa.
Second down 10. They're going to come back there. You can bet on it. Now they go to the underneath man, and Cooper picks it off. Cooper, DeJean heading for pay dirt. has one man to beat, downed inside the 5 at the 4-yard line.
A consensus All-American, Cooper DeJean is an elite athlete and a versatile defender. He's an instinctive player that always seems to be one step ahead of the offense. DeJean has the ability to play either man or zone and is also an asset in run defense. Scouts are divided on his best fit, but he has the physical tools to contribute in the NFL as a safety on the outside or as a nickel corner.
Listen to me.
You're just doing you're going Cajun here.
Stop.
Gambit's dead.
Listen
So you can't be trying to talk like Gambit.
I will not allow a bunch of Midwestern corn-loving weirdos to just turn around.
What's wrong with corn?
And absolutely, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word I want to say here, so I'll just say disrespect the way that is pronounced. All right, you don't get to just change how the word said. Jean is Jean. It's French. That's what it is.
Yeah, but one of those people was actually, I'm guessing, works for the network because they're grabbing network guys to do this stuff. So
Listen, the second guy was the play guy for the school.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure that Coop believes his last name is DeJean, but it's not. That is DeJean. That's Cooper DeJean. You got flair. Embrace it, my guy. Cooper DeJean. Anyway.
Why would you want to sound French?
Lonzo has elected violence today, people. That's what's happening here. He has elected violence.
Just because if you're not on stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or X, then you don't know that Rob is straight up rocking his Saints gear. So apparently he's French today.
I'm French every day. I'm French and Irish. I got the two best. All right? I got food over here and whiskey over here. It's a good day.
Yeah, how's that working out for you?
Real bad. Real bad. Real bad. Cooper DeJean, Cooper Blue Jeans is a very, very competitive defensive back. This is a dude who will fist fight a wide receiver if he needs to. He is explosive. He is tall. He is fast. He is thick with 2 C's on the back end of it. Here's what I will say. He is a better zone guy than man guy. His man coverage is average. His zone coverage is phenomenal. If you are a quarterback who does not have great eye discipline, what I mean by eye discipline is you're looking over here and you know you're throwing over there, but you lead the DB in that direction with your eyes, and you've got the peripheral of what's happening over here, and you know that's the way you're going. If those eyes clip over to where you're going and then back, Cooper DeJean understands that. He sees that. He reacts to that exceptionally well. The only place that I have concern for this guy is he is not great at getting the hips turned and chasing down the deep ball. He's quick. He's quick. He's got a good 40 time. He's got good size attached to him. But if you can get behind him, if you can get a 9 route behind him, and this is why he's fallen this far, despite the fact a lot of teams that need defensive backs, if you can get a DB behind him, he struggles to get turned and get caught up, and that is a big, big problem. The second thing, and this is what I've understood from interactions with scouts and folks on Twitter, is they look at Iowa and they see 2 things. Number one, the Big Ten was crap when it came to offenses this year. There were 2 of them. There was Michigan, there was Ohio State. Maybe you could argue Penn State was better than they looked. I don't think that they were. The Big Ten was loaded with bad offenses this year. And so there are some scouts at the top level who genuinely do not believe that Cooper DeJean and the Iowa Hawkeyes actually faced competition that tested him, that brought out the best in him. And that is another reason he has dropped, because they watched him play a bunch of bad offenses and he looked pretty good against a bunch of bad offenses. So we'll see. We'll see if that translates. Let's grab another pick. Number 23 belongs to the Minnesota Vikings, their second pick in round number 1, and the pick is in. With the second first-round pick and the 23rd pick overall, the Minnesota Vikings select Amarius Mims, offensive line from Georgia.
Amarius Mims, tackle, Georgia. He started less than 10 games in his collegiate career, but scouts are enamored with his rare combination of size, athleticism, and raw strength. Mims has elite quickness and footwork and pass protection and can overwhelm defenses with sheer power in the run game. The worry with Mims is lack of experience and injury concerns, but he has all the raw talent to be a terrific NFL tackle.
Don't have an issue with that. This is another, to me, developmental pick. This is another prospect pick. Last night I was on BetMGM tonight with Tristan, Nick, and Ryan, and we were having a conversation about the philosophy of first round picks, because I went against, and I don't remember who we were talking about specifically, but I went against a pick that one of those guys had made, and they said, why? Like, why do you not love this pick? And I said, because that guy feels like a prospect pick to me. And I think if you are a good team, if you're like a Kansas City, then I think you can gamble your first round pick on a prospect pick. If you feel up to it and you're good already, then yeah, you can look at a guy and go, he's going to need some polish, but I think this guy can be great. That is Amarius Mims to me. I think he's a prospect. He's a big fella. Goes 6'8", goes 340. I think he's got a chance to be very, very good. And at this point in the draft, the elite offensive linemen are by and large all gone at this point. So if you got to go OL, and the Vikings are, in my opinion, going to have a new quarterback next year, with all due respect and appreciation to the absolute icon that is Sammy D, the Vikings aren't going to use Sam Darnold as a franchise quarterback. Why would they? So they got to go quarterback. My belief is it's Michael Penix Jr. But whether it's Michael Penix Jr. or J.J. McCarthy at 11, or somebody else with a trade up, if there is a dramatic move there from the Vikings, whether it's Penix Jr. or anybody else, step one, right, Bryce Young, is to build an offensive line in front of them, is to not ask them to play behind 5 subway turnstiles and expect to develop, succeed, grow, and thrive in year number 1. This is how Minnesota at least takes a step in that direction. This guy is a prototype in terms of size, and we use this word, length. It is one thing to be tall. It is another thing to have length. It is another thing to play long, to have that wingspan, to have those arms where I can eat up 2 blockers and keep them at a distance in case they run a stunt across the middle and a linebacker to the far side. I love having an offensive lineman with those long arms that can reach out and take on 2 blocks, or that can take on 1 block and extend those arms, get them away from the body so that pass rush moves become less successful against him. But as you heard in the draft profile there, Amarius Mims has limited experience. He has 8 career starts in college. Amarius Mims is inconsistent, not bad, inconsistent against the run. Minnesota, with a rook quarterback, more than likely, is going to want to build on the run game, to use the run game to develop whoever the next quarterback is. This is a big question mark about that. His acknowledgement of how, when, and the structure to get to the second level is a question mark right now. He is very good on the pass. He is inconsistent against the run. He is not good at getting to the second level. So if you're going to run and you're going to ask this guy to get a second level block against the linebacker to run a pulling guard behind him, right now that's a big fat question mark. And I'm concerned about that. Third thing is, we talked about offensive linemen yesterday who play too far forward. They play with the center of gravity out in front of the feet. Amarius Mims plays it with behind the feet. At the top of the rush, when he is eating the contact, Amarius Mims plays up. He's 6'8". So if he plays up and you get a good bust of a D lineman on that chest and he gets knocked back, that center of gravity's going backwards. He's going backwards. They're going to have to work on it. And this doesn't surprise me. He's a guy with 8 career starts. He's going to have some work to do. Amarius Mims, offensive lineman, goes to the Minnesota Vikings at 23 at number 24. The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock, and the pick is in. With the 24th selection in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Graham Barton, offensive lineman, Duke.
Graham Barton, guard, Duke. A 3-year starter at Duke, Barton played at center before moving to left tackle in his sophomore season for the Blue Devils. Smooth in pass protection, his strength also allows him to make an impact in the run game and in short yardage situations. Barton has positional versatility, and although he played tackle in college, scouts believe he would be better served as either a guard or center at the next level, but he has the ability to play both.
Graham Barton is already built like a starter. He already plays like a starter. He has the technique of the starter. There is only one issue with Graham Barton. It is his size. He stands in at 6'5", 313. You heard Amarius Mims. That dude's going like 480 pounds. You've heard about the guys that got picked in the top end. They're all up in the 340s, 350s, 360s. He checks in at 313, which is why you heard in the draft profile there that they are likely to move the guy to the interior, to a guard or a center position. Outside of that, this dude is actually a very polished player. If I took this guy's technique and ability and I put him into the body of Amarius Mims, Lonzo, he'd be a top 3 pick. He'd be a top 4 pick. He would be in the mix with those wide receivers because the technique is solid. The foundation is good. He doesn't play with his center of gravity not over his feet in any direction. The only issue that he has is his size. He lunges a little bit on the block when he's going to the second level, but as an interior guy, you're not going to ask that all that much from him. And if you're Dallas, again, Jerry Jones said the other day, they want to keep Dak around. They just got to balance the contract they give him versus the contract they can afford for other spots. This is a great way to keep Dak and keep money for Dak, but also keep Dak safe and slow down the pass rush that causes those playoff meltdowns from the Cowboy offense. I really like this kid. I just wish he was about 35 pounds heavier.
This doesn't sound like an all-in pick to me. So, and Jerry Jones said they're all in. So I'm not sure that they take the kind of pick that makes sense here. Because if you're all in, that means you're going for it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're set at wide receiver. You could use a running back, but I don't think anybody thinks. I don't even have a running back going in the first round. I haven't seen a mock that does. You got a real good defense put together. I mean, you could probably use a linebacker to replace Vander Esch, who retired because of the neck injury. But I mean, if you're going to go all in on Dak, you got to go offensive line here. And I think that's the play. Let's get one more in here. On the clock at number 25, the Green Bay Packers, and the pick is in. With the 25th overall selection in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Green Bay Packers select Nate Wiggins, cornerback, Clemson.
Nate Wiggins, cornerback, Clemson.
Back to pass, 3-man rush. Pressure gets on him. Going to have to roll left side, and it's just going to throw it. It's picked off. Picked off Wiggins. Wiggins returns it to the 20, the 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Wiggins steps in front of the pass on the sideline and takes it to the house.
A terrific all-around cover corner, Nate Wiggins often finds himself running routes for receivers. He gets it done in a variety of ways, whether in press man, off man, or zone coverage, and is comfortable in one-on-one matchups. At just 173 pounds, he lacks a bit of physicality, but he has the skill set of a true number 1 corner.
You know, I was ready to give like a big shout out to our guy, Don Munson, right there.
Well, I didn't do it over Don.
No,
I'm not going to disrespect Don. He's too good of a guy.
Don's a great dude.
The other guy, I don't know him, so I don't care.
He said Clemson, and I thought Lonzo's ears were going to fall off.
I
He
did.
smiled so hard.
I did smile.
Nate Wiggins is
That's how it's
going
pronounced everywhere else, by the way.
25th overall to the Green Bay Packers. A lot of things I like about Nate. A couple of things I think NFL teams are going to have to be concerned about. Number one, the frame is not that built. He's kind of a skinnier dude at this position. The good news is on his draft profiles, from all the ones that I've seen, the common belief amongst the NFL scouts right now is that because his frame is so long, he can add weight to it. He is a very athletic field coverage guy. You can drop him back from a quarterback role into a cover three, a disguised cover three, and you can trust nobody's getting deep on him. He is, of all the DBs we've talked about so far in this draft, the most hips on a swivel guy that is going to get drafted in the first round. You are not outmaneuvering Nate Wiggins. The wide receivers, we talked about some of the other DBs in this draft, how a double move beats them. A very quick single move beats them. Not Nate Wiggins. So what's the downside? Why is he all the way down at number 25? Number one, off-man coverage, he gives a lot of cushion. Off-man coverage, he gives a lot of cushion. If he is not lined up in press, he does not climb into the back pockets of guys that get into his zone. Number two, I know he's got speed. I know he's got those hips that can get turned on a dime and change directions very, very quickly. The problem is he very frequently flipped those hips late. By the time he got those quick hips around, he was already beat. If he didn't have the quick hips, Nate Wiggins would be bad. Like, if he didn't have the quick hips, Nate Wiggins would be bad because he turns the hips too late. The bad news. The good news is once those hips get turned, they turn as quickly and he's up the field as fast as anybody else. If you can teach this guy to recognize the route and to get those hips flipped just a little bit faster, just a fraction of a second faster, Nate Wiggins might be one of the better cornerbacks taken in this draft. He's not uber aggressive. And this is always something that a lot of folks look at. Do you attack the ball? He doesn't. He doesn't. He'll attack a jump ball, but he doesn't attack the ball off reliefs. And that is something they're going to have to work on. And the last thing, and this is going to hurt every DB, he is not good in run support. He does not want to be involved in run support. He does not want to jump into that pile. He does not want to run into the back of a linebacker and slam into the back of a line and take shots and try to make tackles in the run game. And they need him to. He has to do that at the NFL. So he is going to have to change that aspect of his game if he wants to make anything happen there. When we come back in the next hour of the show, we are going to get as close to the end of round number 1 as we possibly can. We will jump all the way up to pick 26. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock when we come back. Now on the clock, 60 seconds of sports talk greatness from the great one, Sports Flash.
In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Bruins down Toronto last night 4-2. Brad Marchand scored twice for the Bruins and added an assist, while Jake DeBrus and Trent Frederic added solo goals. The Bruins led the series 2-1. Rob hates it when people don't pronounce French like French. The Golden Knights are 2 games away from eliminating the Dallas Stars from the postseason. Again, after a 3-1 win last night, gave them a 2-0 series lead. Dallas jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the first, but Jonathan Marchessault, Noah Hannafin, and Jack Eichel all recorded a score consecutively. You know what's going on today? The NFL draft. You know what you can do? You can join Wire to Wire as Cole Bryson and Diesel broadcast live from Dave and Buster's in Greenville. Come out and hang with the guys as they get you ready for the first round of the NFL draft, 3 to 7 p.m. today. It's live. It's on location. It's Wire to Wire. Daggone it. Turn your mic off, Reitzel, you dummy. He should. I completely agree, Steve. Steve-O.
Steve-O. I need no one to ever say, cha-ching it's cha-ching the Thunder Moneyball. If he went cha-ching Thunder Moneyball, I'd be like, all right, it's not great. But he went cha-ching the Thunder Moneyball. It's awful. It's an awful radio call.
The is a pretty strong word, but it should have been copywritten, so then he would have had to pay to use it. I don't know why the government got in the way on that, because, you know, it's just...
Oh.
He was very heated yesterday and for the first hour this morning, but now he's starting to cool down.
I am heated. It is warm in here still. It must be better on your side of the board.
I am still doing what I did yesterday.
Sweating?
No, making my movements less. I would think as a Florida guy, you would know.
Alonzo had to hit the shorts adjustment in the hallway at least once yesterday.
I did. Yeah. But I just don't, in the heat, I just don't move a lot. You can't talk without moving. So, yeah.
I think I'm like 2% Italian somewhere.
With the French and the Irish?
French, Irish, and like a sprinkle of Italian.
It's a good combination. QC in the first break.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Real good, Corey LaJoy, as we enter hour number 3 of the Rob Brown radio program. Hey, if you've got thoughts on this draft, now's the time to get them in because you have from now until 8:40 a.m. At 8:40, Rashad Beard will join us to talk Panther draft strategery. At 9 o'clock, Hayden Ass Mario will join us to talk NBA playoffs, and we'll get his thoughts on the draft as well. At 9:20, it's Thursday. You know what that means. Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo. We'll talk MMA, boxing, and professional wrestling. And then if we don't get through all 32 picks, we will finish our mock draft in the last segment. If we do, we will ask what the X is going on. All of that coming up on the Rob Brown radio program. But we are going to try to finish up our mock draft in the next 40 minutes. So let us get back on the clock. We have made it through 25. Your selections so far go this way. Caleb Williams to the Bears, 1 overall. Jaden Daniels, 2nd to the Commanders at number 2. New England goes in the 3rd spot with Drake May. At 4, the Cardinals take Marvin Harrison Jr. At 5, the Chargers take Malik Neighbors out of LSU. Roma Dunze from Washington goes 6th to the Giants. Joe Alt, 7th. The offensive lineman heads to Nash Vegas, Tennessee. The Atlanta Falcons go with an interior defensive lineman and Byron Murphy II out of Texas. Chicago, with their 2nd first-round pick, selects Jared Verse, the edge rusher from FSU. The Jets take Olu Fashanu, the offensive lineman out of Penn State, at 10. Michael Penix Jr. from Washington, 11 to Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy goes 12th to the Denver Broncos. Quinyon Mitchell, 13th to Las Vegas. Talisa Fuaga, the offensive tackle, goes to the Saints at 14. Brock Bowers, 15th to Indianapolis. Seattle takes Troy Fatanu, the offensive lineman from Washington, at 16. Jacksonville, Dallas Turner goes edge rusher from Alabama to the Jags at 17. The Bengals take Latu, the edge rusher, at 18. At 19, the Rams select Terrion Arnold, the cornerback from Alabama, at 20. The Steelers take Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver from LSU. The Dolphins select 21st, J.C. Latham, the offensive lineman from Alabama. The Philadelphia Eagles selected 22nd. They went with Cooper DeJean. Amarius Mims goes 23rd to Minnesota. Graham Barton, 24th to the Dallas Cowboys. And we left off with number 25, the Green Bay Packers selecting Nate Wiggins, the cornerback from Clemson. That brings us to pick number 26. It brings us to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the pick is in.
It was missing from my cart wall. I wanted to make sure it worked. That's the reason why.
Yeah. With a 26 overall selection in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback, Alabama.
Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback, Alabama.
Looking, Rodgers stepping up, firing. He's got a man, but it's knocked away. Kool-Aid McKinstry knocked it away at the last moment. Bama will take over on downs.
A terrific press man corner. Kool-Aid McKinstry has the footwork and quickness to keep on top of receivers throughout their routes. McKinstry is also a patient corner and can jump underneath and in breaking routes effectively. Although he does have plus-level speed, he can occasionally allow too much separation over the top and will have to close out sooner at the next level.
Bingo. This is one of the first draft profiles that I don't have a ton to add to. He pretty much nailed it on that. Short, mid-range passes, Kool-Aid McKinstry is as good as it's going to get. You run a guy past him, you get a guy on a line, on a 7 route, a 9 route, a go technique. Kool-Aid is going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's got decent speed, not high-end top speed.
Why do you keep using his nickname?
That's what he goes by.
Okay.
It's
so he doesn't really have a first name?
He does.
Or
It's
just okay.
Quincy.
Okay. All right.
But he has effectively made his name Kool-Aid. How sugar sweet you got to be to get the entire nation into buying it, to the point that Roger is going to introduce him tonight as Kool-Aid McKinstry. I mean, that like at this point, that just is his name. Super smart football player. Super smart football player. Guy understands patterns and techniques as well as any other DB that is going to be drafted tonight. He has got a ton of patience. He's got very rapid acceleration, and he is a turnover machine. He punches, he claws, he chops, he throws blows. He tries to knock the ball out of your arms and down to the turf, and he is very successful. And on top of all that, you get a bonus in that he is an excellent punt returner. Again, not great speed, but phenomenal field awareness, phenomenal vision, phenomenal execution in everything that he does. The only problem is the speed. The only problem is the short area speed is very good. Acceleration is good. Long break speed is not. Second thing, out of the break, he can get beat because he has built a reliance on giving a quick tug on wide receivers. The NFL, that's going to get called more than it does at the college level. NFL, you try to tug a guy to prevent him from coming out of his break, you're going to draw flags. He's going to have to start relying on his feet less than or more than he relies on trying to slow up breaks out of a route. And the last thing, and this is honestly, I think this is a critique that you could give about just about every defensive back in this draft. He does not want to play run support. He is happy to sit back. He is happy to play the backfield. He is happy to serve as the last line of defense against the run.
The Deion Sanders method.
Pretty much.
Because Deion used to get killed for that all the time.
Yep, and it checks out and makes sense why. That's why he is being drafted way down here.
I guess I get it if you're slight build, but how do you not want to hit? I mean, it's an amazing film.
Some guys ain't got that dog in them, man. Some guys they just ain't got that dog. The only other issue I have, he's only 5'11". Now,
that's a problem.
Yeah, as a DB, specifically as a cornerback, that can present some problems at the next level. But the dude does everything well. He just doesn't necessarily have that. Doesn't really have that bust in him. Doesn't really have that push to him that I need that guy to have if he is going to be exceptional at the next level. All right, let's move on. Let's get another pick in here. Coming up at 27, once again, the Arizona Cardinals, and the pick is in. This is a pick that I don't particularly love. This is a pick that I think you are going to end up with a spot that is the result of a trade. I don't know if this team is picking here, and if they are, I don't think this is necessarily the way they go, but for where they are, for what they need, with the 2024 27th selection in the Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Jerzon Johnny Newton, defensive lineman out of Illinois.
Johnny Newton, defensive tackle, Illinois.
Back to pass, lock, retreats. Newton grabs him and sacks him. Back inside the Wisconsin 45. So Johnny Newton says, I'm not having any of that.
As the anchor of the Illinois defensive line, Newton had a highly decorated final season in 2023. He was a consensus All-American and was named the Nagurski-Woodson Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten. He's a natural interior rusher with quick hands and is explosive at the point of attack. However, he is undersized and can occasionally struggle in the run game.
He is undersized. He checked in at 6'2", 304, which as an edge rusher, fine. As an interior defensive lineman, not so much. He is very compact. He is what Lonzo and I would call sturdy. All right, goes 300 pounds, but he is built small. There are a lot of things that are very interesting. He's very quick. He runs like a defensive end who has been shifted to the inside of the field. He plays a very good press. It is hard to turn him one way or the next. Offensive linemen are not going to be able to just steer him away from the run gap. He plays heads up, straight up, and he gets up and down the field. Issue I have, when he gets into a block, he does not disrupt the block. He does not try to break up the block. He does not try to shock the offensive lineman. He embraces the block. This is the biggest concern I have for any defensive lineman. I do not want you to see the offensive lineman and just kind of gradually go. I want you to blow that block up. I want you to blast through his chest. I want you to go reverse xenomorph spawn on him. Don't come out. Don't burst into the chest. Go through him. And Johnny Newton does not necessarily do that. Second thing is he can get a little bit undisciplined against the run. What I'm talking about here is I said you can't steer him. He's not a guy you can turn into the A gap if you're rushing B or turn into the C gap if you're rushing B. What happens sometimes is that because he's undersized, Johnny Newton tries to figure out where the ball is going and get there, and sometimes it leads to him running to where the offensive line wants him to be blocked. He does not react. He tries to be proactive. Oh, looks like they're going to run C gap. I'm going to blitz. I'm going to rush the C gap. And it ends up creating an issue, creating a spot where sometimes he removes himself from the play. This is probably too high for Johnny Newton, but the Cardinals defense sucks. It does. And most, or at least my philosophy is, with the offense, you build it from the center out. With the defense, you build it from the nose tackle out. And Johnny Newton very much fits into that category. We got time to get one more in here, I think. Let's go with the Buffalo Bills drafting at number 28. And the pick is in. With the 28th overall selection in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Buffalo Bills select Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver, Texas.
Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver, Texas.
Snap goes back to Murphy. Malik, deep retreat. He's going deep. He has Mitchell open in the end zone. He caught it. Touchdown, Texas. Adonai Mitchell somehow just wandered back behind the defense, leaped in the air. The ball settled in, and it's a Longhorn touchdown.
Mitchell is a talented receiver with good route running ability. At 6'4", his height and length can make him a matchup nightmare for opposing corners. He scored 11 touchdowns for the Longhorns last season and is a great red zone threat who can create space with his size. However, there is some concern that he lacks the explosiveness to separate from corners at the pro level.
I really don't understand the size thing here. He's 6'2", 205. Like, yeah, up against a guy like 5'11" Kool-Aid McKinstry, sure. 6'2", 205 is not a behemoth. That's not a monster. I do not understand why people are leaning so heavy on the size thing for Adonai Mitchell here. I don't get it. I don't understand. Strengths and weaknesses for this kid. Real quick acceleration, real quick foot speed, real quick burst off the line. And it is not just acceleration out of the set. It's route changing as well. He can change the pattern, the direction of his route in stride and get downfield bursts of acceleration that will throw a DB off. Again, to go back to the last DB we talked about, Kool-Aid McKinstry. One of the things we talked about with him is the fact that if you can get on his back, if you can get to his back, whether it's on the 9 or the inside route, he flips the hips too late. Adonai Mitchell is a guy that will kill a DB if he does that, because not only is he going to plant and make the cut, but when he plants and comes out of the cut, he accelerates a second time. So you can't trust when he runs, let's say, a corner route or a fade route or a post route, that diagonal speed is going to stay consistent when he moves to the second portion of the route. He will hit a different gear, a different speed. That's big time. Second thing that I love about this guy, get it close. Get it close to him. There was an episode years ago of a show called Sports Science. I don't know if you ever watched it. I loved it.
I did, but I had a problem with it.
Fine. Physics, chemistry, biology.
Yeah, I know all those
Phenomenal.
things. I mean, the first few episodes were pretty cool, but then after a while, it got a little boring.
I adored that show.
No surprise.
As a sports dork, I loved that show. Anyway, they had T.O. come do an experiment one time, and the premise was the catch radius of an NFL wide receiver. Now, T.O.'s an unfair specimen to use, but they brought in T.O. and they had him stand in one spot and basically jump in every direction, up, down, left, right, forward, backwards, diagonal, whatever. And they built a little dome. They built a little dome around him to show you how big of a radius from T.O. a quarterback had to get the ball for T.O. to have a shot at it. And basically, in any direction, front, back, left, right, you had to throw it, Zoe, within the length of a school bus, and T.O. could go get it. If you were throwing up, it had to be less than 11 feet in the air, and T.O. could catch it.
By the way, not as big of a deal. I mean, because how tall is T.O. and his outstretched arms? He's really what, jumping 2 feet maybe?
T.O. was probably, let's look. I don't want to guess. I was going to say he's probably about 6'3". Yeah, 6'3". T.O. went about 6'3". That's me.
Right.
Dunking on an 11-foot.
But how tall are you when you? I'm just saying.
That's insane.
11 feet is great, but it's not as high as you're making it sound like.
That's dunking a basket.
But you're already reaching up. How many feet are you reaching up when you reach up? So you're
about 8.
Your elbow. Your elbow pit probably comes to the top of your head.
Okay. So arm up on top of that's another 2 feet. You're looking at 8 feet. I'll give you 8.5 for a guy like T.O.
So he jumps 3 feet, which is still
3.5 feet.
It's still a big deal. I already said he jumps 3 feet, but it's. I mean, now if it was 12 feet, that would be something totally different.
Lonzo, if I walked into the gym right now and dunked a basketball, you would lose your bleeping mind. This guy jumped 11 feet in the air.
Yeah, you have to land. It's gonna hurt when you land.
Lonzo, I can't touch the rim anymore. All right, I could dunk in high school. I can't touch the rim. This guy would dunk a goal that's a foot higher than the goal.
I just lowered our rim down to 8 feet. You can come over and just it makes you feel amazing.
I might be able to dunk on your granddaughter's like tiny tots hoop. All right. The point is, Adonai Mitchell is the type of cat that has that range. Get it within a school bus and he can go catch it. So where's the issue? Issue is number 1, letdown games. If there's not pressure on Adonai Mitchell, he disappeared. Issue number 2. He does not fight for the football, which means that the Kool-Aid McKinstries, the 5'10" guys, they suddenly have a chance because they can outmaneuver, outposition this guy. Third thing, and this is, I can't believe this hasn't been coached out of him, he catches with the body. He cradles the ball. He lets it come into his body and uses his gut and his chest to catch the ball. You cannot do that at the next level. You have to catch with your hands. He is not aggressive. He does not fight for the football. That's why he dropped this far. When we come back, we got 4 teams left. The Detroit Lions are on the clock. We'll check in with Mark Ryan, see who he thinks they're going to. I'm just kidding. We're not doing that.
I text him and see if he wants to call.
You know
in.
what? Text him. See if he wants to come on. See, he's not doing anything. He doesn't work in the morning.
Let's see if he blocks me.
Number 29, the Detroit Lions on the clock. We go through our last 4 teams in the 2024 mock draft when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Let's see.
All right, guys, quick live reading. We're right back. Stay right there for me. All right, rolling on with our mock draft. We're going to probably not finish it up here. We'll probably have to finish it in the final segment of the final hour of the show, but we'll see how many we can get through here. The Buffalo Bills just selected Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver out of Texas. That puts the Detroit Lions on the clock, and the pick is in. With the 29th overall selection in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Detroit Lions select Demarcus Robinson, edge rusher out of Penn State University.
Darius Robinson, edge rusher, Missouri.
Claps, takes the snap. Pressure comes from
No,
Robinson.
that's the wrong one, Odyssey guy. You know, we made it all the way this far into the game before we got to our first.
I'll have words with him after
wrong
the show.
file.
I'll talk to him about that.
Yeah, that's not particularly ideal, to be 100% honest with you. It's not what I wanted. They call him Chop, by the way. If you've heard Chop Robinson, that's who we're talking about.
Okay, all right, because until this point, I'm like, I know who Chop is. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Here is his profile.
Chop Robinson, edge rusher, Penn State.
Straight drop. Here comes Chop. Fumbles the football loose on the turf. They're surrounded. Robinson's there, and Penn State recovers. Chop Robinson belted him. Chop Robinson finished and recovered.
With tremendous speed off the edge, Robinson is a dangerous rusher with a natural ability to get to the quarterback. He was named first team All-Big Ten last season and consistently caused problems in opposing backfields. Robinson is undersized for a defensive lineman and may struggle in the run game early on, but could contribute immediately as a designated pass rusher.
This is the definition of potential. That's what Chop Robinson is. He has every trait that you want, and yet the numbers show him as like good but not great. Modest production compared to what his physical tools should have allowed him to do. He is powerful. He will be able to go mano a mano, toe-to-toe, bro v bro against any offensive tackle in the game. He's got remarkable quickness. I have heard him compared a number of times to a track sprinter coming out of the blocks when he comes off the edge. Physically, this guy should be a monstrosity at the next level. But he's very unpolished. He's very raw. This is something that I would have concerns about a kid going to Penn State for development. Chop Robinson would be the reason why. Chop Robinson had average production for a guy of his talent, average technique, average hands, average feet. The guy has the potential to be an absolute legend, but he just doesn't have the je ne sais quoi of a great player. I'm trying to come up with an analogy for it or a comparison for it, and I really can't, man. I really can't. Like, the guy he's got the foundation for a great play. You know what he is? He's a crappy apartment in a great neighborhood. That's what he is. Like, you look at it and you're like,
wow, that's man, I don't want to be compared like that.
It's the best I can come up with on the fly. All right. I should have thought about this earlier. He's a crappy apartment in a great neighborhood. You look around and you go, damn, that's real good. And that's real good. And all the potato, you got music, you got food, you got drinks, you got art, you got performances, you got everything for this neighborhood to be amazing. There's nice houses all around this area. And this apartment, if somebody would just try, this apartment could be genuinely great. This apartment could be genuinely fantastic. And it's just not. That's what Chop Robinson is. Tell you what, because we got Rashad at 840. Let me do one more before we run to a break. Let's go to number 30. It is the Baltimore Ravens, and the pick is in. With the 30th overall pick in the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver out of Texas.
Xavier Worthy, wide receiver, Texas.
First down, quick swing pass out to Worthy to the 40. Makes a man miss down the sidelines. 30, 20. Go down to it. It's Xavier Worthy in for the touchdown. 44 yards, and the Longhorns are back in front.
Xavier Worthy is the fastest receiver in this year's draft. He proved it at the Combine when he ran a 4.21 40-yard dash, breaking the all-time record. Along with speed comes good hands and skilled route running. He also has versatility in the slot and has been used as a punt returner in the past. The obvious downside is size. At 172 pounds, he could struggle to separate with stronger corners at the NFL level.
Quick, Lonzo, make fun of him for being small. That's your thing. He's 5'11", 165. Make fun of him right now. Do it right now.
It's funny. I'm watching Hornswoggle wrestle on X right at this moment.
Xavier Worthy is a home run ball. That's it. That's it. He's a home run guy. He's a deep speed guy. He's a guy you put him at the 9, and you can tell the defense, hey, he's just running a straight line, and he's still going to be difficult to cover. That's what this guy is. He's just a deep ball guy. He's a separation guy. He's a phenomenal ball tracker. If you throw it up, throw it deep, and he creates coverage, he's got great hands. He's not going to let the rock hit the turf. The problem is he's 5'11", 165. Cornerbacks that play physical ball are going to eat his lunch if he can't get initial separation. Again, 4-2-1 and knowing when the ball is going to get snapped is going to beat a lot of corners. 5'11", 165 is going to get your lunch eaten a bunch of times as well. He is thin. He is not a strong thin. He has got a lack of hand and arm strength, which means if a ball is in the air and there is a safety over the top that meets him at the ball, they're going to win the jump ball over Xavier Worthy. I'm going to be real clear here. This pick to me, as much as I think a deep ball threat fits Baltimore, I also think it fits Kansas City at 32. This is the second Xavier I personally would take in this draft. I would take Xavier Legette over Xavier Worthy. This is a pick that I am making because I believe that there are a number of teams that are willing to spend a first rounder on the deep ball threat, the guy that you put out there. And everybody knows when Xavier Worthy is at the X, he's just running a 4-2-1, Lonzo, 4-2-1. Not 4.29, not almost 4.3, almost 4.2 flat.
I saw it when it happened. Yeah,
that's insane.
It's pretty amazing.
It's insane. And that is a weapon. You can't do anything else. Can't run him across the middle. Can't throw him in the face of a corner. You just got to say, light the fuse, go deep. Let's see what happens. I think Lamar could use that right now, though, because they don't really have that guy. All right, 31 and 32 end the show. Rashad Beard continues the show next on the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, we're going to step away for a minute to get Rashad set up. We will be right back. The Rob Brown Show continues. It is the Fan Upstate. Waiting on Rashad Beard. Hopefully he will be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. We are just a minute early.
I do have a quick question for you concerning the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
Now that and this started last year, now we have a third way to watch the draft. What is your what place do you watch the draft at?
I'm not gonna lie. I watched the traditional ESPN.
So
coverage.
the fact that Belichick is going to be with McAfee, that doesn't make you want to watch that.
Y'all know
it's because you nerd out too much on the draft. So how is this different from the Manning cast?
Two reasons. I love me some McAfee. We know that. If I may call it what it is. McAfee is me if I started with $10 million in the bank. Okay? McAfee is quite lit. So before McAfee was McAfee, I described to you what the perfect career was for me. It's literally what McAfee's doing. It's calling wrestling matches on Fridays. It's being at football games throughout the week. It's broadcasting a goofy-ass, vulgar podcast from an old, decrepit basketball gym. He is literally doing what I said I was going to do. And for the record, I ain't hating the player. I love me some Pat McAfee.
It's a brand new gym, by the way. They had that thing built.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
I could only afford a decrepit gym. But the point here is, despite the fact that McAfee stole my gimmick, I actually really like the guy. He's very entertaining. I'll tell you why I'm turned off. Because Bill Belichick is boring as hell.
He's not, though. He's not. Have you seen him when he's loose? When he's loose, he's funny. And if you get that guy on this show, this is his opportunity to be who he is guarded and when he's answering the media to a degree that is boring on purpose to make the media leave him alone.
If I start getting the text from the fellas tonight in our group chat,
he won't look at them or answer them.
I'll look at him. If I am getting group text from the boys tonight and they're saying, hey, Hoodie's kind of funny. Hoodie's kind of got me hooked right now. Hoodie's got me bought in on Hoodie, the TV guy. At that point, I'll flip over. And I'll check it out. But I'm not going to, especially early. Or what I might do, great one, is I might watch like the first half on the traditional broadcast, and then I'll try him around pick 17, 18, where it kind of gets a little offensive lineman-y. I'll try him. I'll flip over. And if he's good and I'm entertained, I'll stick around. And if he's not, I'll go back to the traditional. I will give him a shot, but I'm not going to give him a shot for the first overall selection.
Well, why? We already know what that is. So, and the best draft coverage is the NFL Network. They left the other place behind forever and ago. But I'm willing to watch McAfee because I know that Belichick's going to be funny. He's going to be loose. He's going to shock everyone. And I think it's going to be a good show. And this draft, more so than any for a while now, to me, is not that good of a draft. So you need something to spice it up. And I think McAfee might be the way to go. While we're on the opposites here, this is so weird. This is the argument we have during the football season. Oh, Manning catch, you got to watch that. And my argument is always it's distracting. I want to pay attention to the game. So now you're saying McAfee is distracting. You want to pay attention to the draft.
Is that what I said, or did I say Hoodie's boring?
I think we all heard it. Yeah, we did.
No,
No.
You and my fiance. Let me tell you what you
the
actually
two best
said,
people
Rob.
you know.
Let me tell you what you actually said. Let me tell you what you actually meant. No. I love McAfee. I'm all in on Pat. I'm a big fan. No,
an apt comparison. It's an apt comparison.
Do not stop me to tell other people what I actually meant. What I said was what I meant. Bill Belichick is a boring dude, and I will give him a chance to break that tonight. I love McAfee, but in a moment where I want to be dialed in on what is happening in the draft, I don't need Chris Collins.
Hey, can we come back to this? Because Rashad, we got Rashad.
Rashad's going to agree with me.
Sorry.
Yeah, because
which broadcast you watching tonight, Rashad Beard?
I'm watching my own broadcast. I just want to know who the picks are, man. If you want entertainment, you come watch P&P. That's what you should do.
My guy.
That's how it's done right there.
You know what, Rashad? I'm gonna pop in for a minute. I'm gonna come by. I'm gonna come check out what Rashad and Dave on the Panther Nation podcast have to say when my Saints select another boring ass offensive lineman who's gonna wash out in 2 years like we do over and over.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, man. We're going to track even though the Panthers don't have a pick, we're going to definitely be keeping track of every selection. We have a consensus big board. We'll rank all the picks. It's going to be fun, man. We do this every year. We've been doing it for a long time. So draft
is it an actual big board? Is it an actual whiteboard thing? Because I want to. Sorry, I used the word I shouldn't use.
It's an Excel document that we track. It's good stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's all fun.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us on Thursdays to talk Carolina Panther football. Obviously, no first-round pick for your fellas this year, Rashad. To me, I've talked about this a lot. I think there's a wide receiver run in round number 1. I think the Chiefs are going wide receiver. I think the Ravens go wide receiver. I think the Bills go wide receiver. And I think that there's a handful of teams in the teens that might go wide receiver. I'm going to give you the selection right now. We talked, obviously, last week about Ladd McConkey. Let's assume that Kansas City takes Ladd McConkey at 32. Who's the guy you want left over at 33? That's the ideal pick of the second tier of guys that's not Ladd McConkey that you hope available at 33.
Yeah, see, I think the Chiefs, and this is like nightmare scenario, if they get Xavier Worthy, it's like over because that's the last thing they need is a guy like that with that much speed. But I want Xavier Worthy. I think Xavier Worthy is a guy that's great. I think A.D. Mitchell, I don't know where you classify him in that, what tier you put him in. Some folks think that A.D. Mitchell is kind of the back in the tier 1. He's got some stuff going on, but I think Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Legette. I think there is so many ways we can go that I'm not worried. Like I'm okay with not having the first round pick. Let's be patient. Let's see what comes to us, and we'll get a wide receiver. I firmly believe that we'll get one of the 3 or 4 or 5 guys out there that may be available come pick 33.
So let me tell you where I ended up with those guys because I'm curious to get your reaction. I got A.D. Mitchell going to Buffalo at 28. I got Xavier Worthy going to Baltimore at number 30. And at 32, I am still juggling Ladd McConkey or Xavier Legette going to Kansas City. I think most everybody right now is putting Ladd McConkey above Xavier Legette on the board. I'm not going to fight that. I actually really like Xavier Legette. I think what happened at South Carolina held him back from what he really is and can be at the next level versus Ladd McConkey, who played for freaking Georgia. Everybody looks great playing for Kirby Smart right now. I think all 3 of those cats are off the board. That being said, if Legette ends up in Kansas City, and I think he's a real good fit there, you might have McConkey available at 33 the way my board shook out.
Yeah, McConkey. So based off of your list that you provided, I think that if those guys are gone, you got Legette, that's an option. You've got, Keon Coleman, if you want to go that route, bigger slot guy. He's starting to fall down the boards a little bit. You've got Ricky Pearsall, who a lot of people are sleeping on. I like Pearsall a lot from Florida. I thought he dealt with some lackluster quarterback play which may have, hindered his numbers and whatnot. But I say all that to say that there's options if we want a wide receiver. I think one of those guys are going to be available, and I'm okay with either one of those guys. If you want to go deeper than that, you got Jalen Polk later on. You got a guy like Malachi Corley later on. There's so many options that I am least concerned about the wide receiver position. We will get one. And what most Panthers fans should be concerned about, it's not about the guy that we pick. It's about the development of said guy that we get. We've got guys. We've got Mingo on our roster. What are we going to do with him? Like, it's about developing the guys you have. So these guys can have all the talent in the world. We've got to get them in here and hope that Canellis and his staff will develop them appropriately.
Let's talk about that for a second. We had a conversation yesterday about Dan Morgan's introductory press conference. And I think you and I agreed when he said, I don't care who's here. We got to make sure we got dogs in the locker room. Like, that always felt like a bit of a warning shot to the guys that are already on the team that, like, hey, I don't have a connection to y'all. I don't care. Like, I don't care. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. And then there's Dave Canellis, who's kind of the other end of the spectrum. Like, he's not a super intense guy. He's not a guy that's got the laser eyes. He's not a guy that kind of feels like he's going to put the screws to you because he doesn't really care. He feels like a guy that is a player development guy, which to me, I want the most talented wide receiver I can get at 33, Rashad. I don't want to wait. I want the best on the board at 33. I like the fact that you could take a guy like Xavier Worthy, who I think Adonai Mitchell need a lot of development, or a guy like Spencer Leggett, who I don't think needs a ton of physical development. He just needs a chance to run inside of a successful offense and actually get into a rhythm. And you have Morgan on one hand and Canellis on the other to kind of match whatever development angle you need from your player.
Yeah, no, I like that because I think you kind of, put it together really nicely. You got a balance of guys like Dan Morgan, intense. We know who he is. Canellis, very analytical. The X's and O's are crazy. So in his development, again, you see the guys he's worked with. And I really, man, I think it's a good scenario for the Carolina Panthers. I feel good about it. I feel good about, the practices that have been going on. I feel good about what Canellis has been saying in his press conferences. Everything just sounds good. But again, I harken back to what I've been saying. I've got to see it. I've got to see what's going to happen. I've been hurt before. Okay, we've been down this road before. I don't want to be hurt again, so I'm protecting myself from getting too excited. But yeah, I like what we have with Canellis and Morgan for sure.
All right, so this has been the theory that's been thrown around, and I'm not gonna lie, Rashad. I'll let you talk me out of it if you want to. The more I have heard people talk about packaging 33 and 39 to get back into the first round, because the drop off from the wide receivers in that first group, I'm talking Brian Thomas Jr., I'm talking obviously Malik Neighbors, etc. The drop off's pretty big. I am on board for that if and only if Brian Thomas Jr. is still on the board at 15, 16, 17, 18, somewhere in that range. Because I do think to go any higher than that, you'd have to give away too much. If Brian Thomas Jr. takes a tumble down the board and he's still sitting there around 18, 19, 20, I'd be willing to make that move. Outside of that, I don't think there's anybody else on the board that's worth giving up what you'd have to get up to move up 10 spots.
Yeah, I'm not on board with the trade up. We got too
under
many
no
needs.
Circumstances.
I think the wide receiver class is too deep for you to trade up for one guy. I think you could take a guy, even though he may not be Brian Thomas level caliber player. I take a guy like a Ladd McConkey. I take a guy like a Xavier Leggett. There's some guys I would take and again develop them. We've got wide receivers. It's not like we don't have any wide receivers, so it's not like we're just complete void of talent. We can make it through this year. It's just about next year and the year after that where we have some guys with expiring contracts. So I'm not that desperate for a wide receiver where I would trade up. We've got other needs like cornerback, edge rusher, interior offensive lineman. There's too many needs for us, in my opinion, for us to sacrifice the two early picks. Now, if those guys are gone and you're not sitting at, in my opinion, I think there's going to be enough guys there, right, where you could eventually trade back, right? The way I saw it, and there's a board that went out earlier today. If I have a list of 4 or 5 guys that I'm gonna that are on my board that I'm willing to take, I would consider a trade back at 33, still get your guy at 39, and then acquire more capital. You need more pick. We have a lot of holes on this roster. I don't think trading up is an option, in my opinion. I think we may consider trading back. I think that's more likely, depending on how the roster, how the board falls.
So, what's the situation for you where you trade back from 33? What's the situation shape out where we think Dan Morgan decides, you know what, moving back is a good option here?
Great question. So if we have guys like A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Leggett, Ricky Pearsall, Ladd McConkey, Jackson Powers Johnson, Darius Robinson, Nate Wiggins, if there's a list of guys like that out there, there's about 4 or 5 names that I'm willing to take at 33, then I'm going to trade back. I'm going to grab one of those guys at minimum and hopefully acquire another 3rd, another 4th round pick. Because again, there's some talent that, they always say that the 2nd and 3rd round is like the sweet spot, right? So if I can get more picks within that range, then I'm going to do that. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to get that. Depends on who's going to be available, right? If there's a quarterback, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, that somebody wants to trade up to get, then I would consider that. And again, it had to be about 4 or 5 guys on that list, on my list, like I said earlier, that I'd be willing to trade back. And I know I'm going to get at least one of those names.
You ready for my big shock? Michael Penix coming off the board before J.J. McCarthy inside the top 12 picks.
Ooh, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that. I think the McCarthy
right now, pick your guy to lead your team in the future, Michael Penix or J.J. McCarthy.
Oh, for me, I love Penix. I'm a Penix guy. The injury's a little concerning, but I like Penix a lot. I love Penix. I love his game. He's a dog, tough as nails. So I like Penix. But the J.J. McCarthy smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think there's a lot of guys, a lot of teams willing to go up there and get him. But yeah, I'm a Penix guy.
I hate that. Why? His own team don't try. All right, we don't have to go down that road. Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. He joins us every Thursday, like around 8:40, just sometime in the window. We got the NFL draft tonight. You guys going to be live for the whole night, for the whole draft?
Yeah, we're live every day of the draft. We're going to be breaking it down, analyzing our picks. We have, like I said earlier, we have a big board. We'll be talking about BPA. What's the BPA for the Carolina Panthers? Those trade back options, what we would do in the scenario. And if we're right, we're right. If we're wrong, hey, we should have been right. So that's how it's going to go tonight. And so, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's always a blast. Our draft nights are great. I have like a legendary reaction when we picked J.C. Horn over Justin Fields. It was great. Legend. It goes down in the history books for all time draft reactions. So come and watch it. It's fun.
You know what else is going in the history books? The fact that from now on, Lonzo's going to say, when I'm right, I'm right, and when I'm wrong, I should be right. He's going to lift that from you. I'm calling that shot now. Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, make sure you are subscribed to their YouTube channel. They will be live tonight. Big dog, appreciate it. See you next week, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Always. Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast. He will rejoin us next week, and we will evaluate the draft selections of the Carolina Panthers. Right now, you may evaluate what is going on in the world of sports as Lonzo describes those things to you in this hour's Sports Flash.
2 games in the association last night. In game 1, the Heat lit the Nets on fire. See what he did there? Knocking down 23 3-pointers on the way to 111 to 101 win over the Boston Celtics. Tyler Hero had 24, including 6 threes, and Caleb Martin had 5 of his own, scoring 21. The Celtics played only 8 players, and only 3 of them ended in double digits. The series is now tied 1-1. The Thunder looked like the 1 seed last night as they dominated the 8th-seeded Pelicans 124-92. Ouch. OKC prevented New Orleans from ever getting a rhythm offensively, limiting New Orleans to just 45% on only 73 field goal attempts. Hey, join Wired Wire today as Cole, Bryson, and Diesel broadcast live from Dave & Buster's in Greenville. Come out and hang out with the guys as they get you ready for the first round of the NFL Draft, 3 to 7 p.m. today, live on location, wire to wire. It's a parking lot wire for the old gem cam. Not quite sure what a hiccup is on the traffic report, but I'm guessing it's not good. Mario would not like this room. I'm just telling him that he would not like this room because it's really warm.
Hayton asks Mario, "What's up, dog?"
Good morning, gentlemen. It is a great day.
It is a great day. Happy draft day, pal.
Happy draft day.
It's been like 80 degrees in here the last couple of days, so it will flatten your hair. But in Rob's case, I can't tell.
Why so warm? Is someone like it a little warm in there?
The whole building and our room. We have just discovered that the air conditioning unit that sprays out the hot air is on the other side of our big-ass building. So the air has to go from all the way across the building through the ducts before it gets in here. So whatever cold air exists, because cold air does not rise, is sinking into every other room in this building before it gets to us, meaning it does not get to us.
Oh, that's ugh.
I got your Chargers in the 5 spot, ending up with Malik Neighbors after Marvin Harrison comes off 4 to Arizona. I think both of those teams could trade down. What happens?
I think it all determines what happens to the Cardinals at 4. I think if the Cardinals don't trade 4, then take Marvin Harrison Jr., this is my hot take. I think the Chargers trade with the Giants, and the Giants move up.
Who are the Giants targeting there?
JJ.
One of the wide receivers?
You just said JJ.
I have a Giants buddy here who is the president of our local pro soccer club, who's a Giants fan, who told me that if the Giants take J.J. McCarthy, especially if they trade up to take J.J. McCarthy, he is going to vacuum seal every Giants thing he owns and stuff it under his bed for the entire 2024 season, and I believe him.
Dude, I mean, I think he said yesterday that the team he's met with the most has been New York Giants.
Poor Chris. Might have to institutionalize him.
I hope it's not that bad. I mean, he's a Giants fan. He's got to be used to it. Just saying.
But I think the Chargers do everything they can. I think the Bears trade back too. I'll come back.
The 4th and final hour of NFL Draft Day coverage starts now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome in, my dudes, my dudettes. Spectacular to have you here on the radio program every day from 6 until 10 a.m. We are doing our Rob Brown Show mock draft today. We have made it through pick number 30. We will do picks 31 and 32. The 49ers and the Chiefs, your Super Bowl competitors from last year.
I got to say really quick, you saving the Chiefs pick for last, very disrespectful. I want you to know that. They'll know. They know.
3-peat incoming. The Chiefs have been disrespected. 3-peat incoming.
All your fault.
We'll do 31 and 32 in the final segment of the show. Why? Because between now and then, we're locked and loaded. In the very next segment, it is Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo, where we're talking MMA. We're talking boxing. Today, probably, primarily, mainly, mostly, almost entirely, professional wrestling. That's coming up in the next segment.
With a little bit of pro football mixed in, because there's a crossover.
There is a crossover. The NFL keeping kayfabe alive this year. Kayfabe is real, people. Ordinarily, we talk to our next guest on Wednesdays. But unfortunately, he said that we're not a priority to him. So he decided to join us today instead. He is the executive producer of Bet for the Cycle every Saturday from noon to 4, America's #1 baseball gambling show, if you ask my mom. He is an NBA analyst and expert for the BetQL network. He is Mario Heron, a.k.a. Hatin' Mario. What's up, big dog?
Good morning, gentlemen. It's a great day. It's draft day. It's NBA playoffs. It's NHL. Guys, we're in heaven. That's what we're in right now. Wake up, rub the eyes. We're in heaven, and there's no better place to be in this whole world.
Mario, if you want, I could turn his mic down and you and I can just have a conversation. He can just sit over there. I mean, after all that disrespect that you're throwing his way.
Just remember, this is an NBA segment, Lonzo.
I know.
Have that.
Yeah. Also, so you're acting like I can't talk about how bad the Pelicans look and why they should trade Zion. We could do, an entire segment on
Okay. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, that's the whole point, discourse and debate. We could do that because apparently I'm not capable. Go ahead, Rob.
I didn't say you weren't capable. That's not what I said.
I do believe it was implied.
All morning, this man, this icon across the room from me, has been telling me what I actually said. as opposed to what I did say.
Me and his fiance apparently.
We're having marital disputes today, Mario, is what it comes down to. All right. We're in that, we need couples therapy is what this comes down to right now.
I'll put my Dr. Phil hat on. I got you.
Please do.
No, I've been through that before. I got traded. So let's not do that again.
All right, let's jump in. Pelicans are cooked. We're toast. They're going to look back at game one, a game they should have, and with Zion would have won, Mario, but the Thunder unlocked him. Willie Green could have made diamonds. He was clenched up so hard in the last 5 minutes of game one and all of game two. The Pellies are cooks. The birds are done, dude.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. Give them credit for game one and give the Thunder a lot of credit, because I think that was a game where Thunder showed their youth. They looked a little on edge. Them and the Spurs did. Spurs went a little different route, though, than the Thunder. And then in the game two, look, it was going to happen. All right, it was going to. You're playing in a hostile environment in OKC. That's a loud, hard environment to play in. Chet let the game come to him, except instead of chasing the game. SGA was everywhere on both sides of the floor. You don't have your best player. Brandon Ingram is really scared of the moment. I mean, especially in that first quarter, it was like Lou Dort was his big brother, and he was like the littlest of brother. He was like the little brother that was the accident, and he was like 18 years older than him and not 2 years. So it happens. Look, you're going back to your stadium. You could probably take one. It's going to be hard. New Orleans is a hard place to play. You could probably take one, but at most, this is a 6-game series. I think it ends in a 5-game series, and sadly, the Pelicans lose. But I do have a conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory is that if the Suns also fall apart, Rob Brown, who says that Zion doesn't go, I really like being here, and who says that the Suns owner is pissed off because he gave up all these pieces, it's not working? Who says that Booker isn't going to go to the Phoenix Suns owner and go, I'm done being here. I'm done with this big three that didn't work when we had a young crew coming together and you guys decided to separate it? Who says he doesn't request a trade? And who has a lot of assets that you could send over to the Suns and you could get Booker with Zion? And now that's a championship team.
Great one. Who's my favorite playoff player been the last 2 years?
I believe he was just mentioned by Mario.
Devin Damn Booker. Mario, I need you to know I dislike you even more than usual right now because you have just fantasy booked, as we in the wrestling biz say, this dream scenario for my team in my head that I now elect to believe is going to happen. It's not. But if it does, the Pellies are Western Conference Finals bound next year because unlike the Suns, I think you pair him with BI, let him play on the outside, BI play the mid-range, Big Z play underneath. That's deadly, and I don't want to talk about it anymore because you've given me optimism when I decided yesterday to burn it all to the ground.
Hope's a dangerous thing. I just want to give my friend a little hope. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that's a pretty good logical move that the Pelicans could make. And who knows? If the Suns get swept, they could get swept. Who knows? Booker could say, I'm pretty unhappy. He's got a lot of years left on that contract. Now, you're not to give him the house. But, hey, you're selling a house for a mansion. And I would want a mansion.
I hate you so much. I really do. I hate you so much. Hey, Nas Mario joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Either way, is there any chance, and then we'll move on from the series, is there any chance New Orleans can win 2 with the house?
I don't think so. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Unless BI somehow finds a way to get past the door on every possession, unless somehow they find a way to blitz SGA in terms of just he gets rid of the ball and he has 20 or less points. I just really don't see it. And even in that game, like J-Dubs could go off in that game and score 25. Chet even proved last night that, hey, I'm finding my way through his playoffs. And if he can do that against Big Z, he can do that against a lot of other guys, and his confidence is up. I just think it's too many weapons, too much youth, and too much excitement going on over there in OKC.
Well, we had a fun season. Anyway, Boston, Miami. Miami did the Miami thing that we all figured at some point the Miami were going to Miami all over the place and shot 1 billion threes and made most of them last night. As much as those games are fun for me, as much as I enjoyed that yesterday, Mario, that's not sustainable. You're not knocking 23 threes down a game. Boston's going to win this series in 5, maybe 6, but 5.
So I think it's 6. So, but I'm with you, right? Like the Heat hitting those threes last night, that's not sustainable. Like that's not going to happen again. At halftime, they hit a season high in 3-pointers made. And they were, obviously not a great 3-point shooting team. Some of that does go to Boston where it's like, Joe Mazzulla, tell your guys to put a hand up and close out on a shooter. I mean, even when they're knocking down all these threes, every Celtics defender was not even stepping beyond the 3-point line and putting a hand up. They're going out to the guys with their hands down. Put your hand up, contest the 3. It makes it a lot harder to make the 3. Scientists have said that. Look, I get it. It was a big win for the Miami Heat. They played great defense as they usually do. Porzingis in the post was god-awful. Even Tyler Hero, he couldn't figure out. I don't see that happening again. I don't see the Celtics falling apart like that again. This is a different Celtics team. I just think what happened is Heat made threes. Heat came out in game 2, ready to punch them in the mouth, and they did. Now, I think instead of a swept series I thought it was going to be, 5 I could see. I think it's going to more likely go 6. But I just think we're in for a huge revenge game, Rob, with the Celtics in Miami. I mean, monstrous revenge game. And I think that's coming right now. And you got bulletin board material with Jimmy Butler talking smack to you from his couch on Instagram.
I don't know what the line on that game is going to be, Mario. I'm taking Boston to cover it. Don't even care what it said at. Set it at 20. I'm taking Boston to cover it. Let's go back to a series that you very briefly mentioned just a few minutes ago. Suns Timberwolves. T-Wolves win a 105-93 winner in game 2 that, let's be real, wasn't even that close. They lead that series 2-0. Like maybe at home, maybe the Suns hit a dramatic buzzer beater to steal one. That series feels over to me too.
It's so over. It's so over. It's more over than my high school relationship that when I went to college. It's more over than that ever was. You look at this game and game 2. Yeah. In game 2, Anthony Edwards it was not his moment, right? Like it was not even close to his moment. At the end of the third, the Wolves were up 7 and their 3 leading scorers was Conley, McDaniels, and Gobert. Gobert played a great defensive game. He's not an offensive player. Conley's 1,000 years old, but he's an indie legend. Shout out to him. And McDaniels offense is not his game. And in that, you look at the other side, Booker had 18, Beal had 12, and Durant had 15. And you're like, all right, the Suns should be up right now. And they were not. If you can't beat a team in the playoffs where their best player is having a bad game, you are not better than that team, and you sure as hell can't beat them in the series. And that's where the Phoenix Suns are at right now. And it's crazy to me that so many people were so high on the Suns going into this series because you had so much proof that this Suns team just wasn't it, and so much proof that this Suns team didn't play together at all during the year. And once again, Kevin Durant's learning that it matters to play together during the regular season because you play a team that's played together the whole freaking time, you're going to lose. And it's just going to happen again. And Anthony Edwards is not going to have that type of game again. He's going to be better. He's going to hit more shots. It's over for the Suns. They're going into a hell of an offseason with a lot of questions around guys that they're paying a lot of money for that aren't doing anything for them.
Most confusing series right now. Game 1, the Bucks slap the taste out of the mouth of the Indiana Pacers. Game 2, the Pacers do the exact same thing back. 2 uncompetitive games. Both teams take one of those dubs. I don't know what to make of these series. I would like to think that the inexperience was what killed Indiana in game 1, and they came out game 2 and said, all right, let's just play our game again. On the flip side, looks like maybe Milwaukee gets Giannis back for game 3, possibly. If they do, Mario, I don't know what to make of this series right now, man. Like, I can't touch this series in any way, shape, or form other than putting it on the TV.
I think the toughest part about this is, like you mentioned it, in game 1, the Pacers look shell-shocked, right? Like, everyone besides Siakam, and newsflash, Siakam's the only one that had playoff experience, looked ready to play. Like, they were like, okay, this is what it's like to play in the playoffs. Tyrese Halliburton looked like he was even close to being ready. Like, someone should have given him coffee on the bench and, some ADHD medicine. Like, hey, you got to lock in here, buddy, because you look like you're not even in this building right now. that happens. Dame obviously goes off. And the thing that pissed me off too, but like I wanted to mention here, Rob, people were like, well, that Dame game's not going to happen again. Sure. Okay. You know what I mean? One of the best shooters we've ever seen, one of the best playmakers, one of the best playoff performers we've ever seen. It's going to happen again, buddy. Game 2, I think we saw the plan of Rick Carlisle going, in the first half, we are going to let Dame tire himself out. We're going to let him shoot every single shot he wants, make everything he wants. And the second half, he's going to be dead tired and become more of a defensive liability than he's ever been. And then that's when we're really going to attack. And I think that's what the Spurs did in Game 2. I think that's going to do that in Game 3. That's going to change if Giannis plays. If Giannis plays, I think this series is Bucks. But if Giannis doesn't play, Rob, I think this is 100% Pacers because they're only going to get more comfortable playing in the playoffs, and they're coming back to Indiana. I know I've said this before, and everyone's laughed at me, but it's fine. Basketball was born in Massachusetts, but it was raised in Indiana.
Oh God, here we
and
go.
I'm telling you right now,
here we go again.
That Gamebridge Fieldhouse is going to be the loudest it's ever been, and it's going to be louder than any other stadium in the NBA. Indiana loves their basketball. IU stinks. They're coming off the Purdue run. That stadium is going to be packed and loud. And if you think they're going to take 2 or take maybe even 1 with no Giannis, you got another thing coming, Bubba. It's Pacers are winning the next 2 at home, if no Giannis. That's a fact, Jack.
Nobody likes basketball like Indiana. You made Hoosiers 90 years ago. Get over it.
I completely agree with him. You know,
Yeah.
as someone also,
no.
you know,
Head up to Raleigh.
growing up in Midwest,
Head
you
up
know,
to Raleigh
yeah.
tell them you like basketball more than they do. Go ahead. Go on down to Rock Chalk Jayhawk, Kansas, and go tell them you love basketball more than they do.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What, are they going to want a fist fight?
Go to
Who
Bluegrass,
cares?
Kentucky. Tell them you love basketball more than they love
I got
their
family
cats.
there. I'll go down there and tell them.
Yeah.
Mario also thinks Indianapolis is one of the best sports host cities in America.
Yeah, and he's probably right.
No, he's
Yes. Hey,
Thank
I
you.
have a basketball question, even though I'm not supposed to know about basketball. Apparently, is it possible that can we get the Lakers? Can we get AD and LeBron to just not start playing till the second quarter? So when that burnout happens and they let the team come back from 20 points, it won't happen because they will have started later. Is that a possibility?
That would require for everyone else around the team to actually play better and to actually step up and do what they're supposed to do.
Well, they wouldn't have a
Also,
choice to at least try because they would be out there and LeBron and AD would be. That's just an idea.
I mean, also, I think the problem with that too is Darvin Ham loves Rui and loves Rui a lot, but the problem is Rui is terrible on the offensive side of the floor, but good on the defensive side. And he goes, "Hey, Rui, we're gonna have you stay out there, and Jokic, you're gonna chill right there in the paint and just make sure you don't get 3 seconds because no one's gonna come near you because you're not really good offensively." And then they're playing, 5-on-4 on the offensive side. I agree with you. Like the burnout happens every time. I'm like, can someone help with this? Can Austin Reeves help with this? D'Angelo Russell is a 1 step forward, 5 steps back type of player. Either way, talk about another series. I mean, we've said just series are done. That one's cooked. I mean, fry that baby up. I mean, Jokic is dominating LeBron once again. And just goes to prove that 2 stars is not enough. You need a whole team of players to be around. And the Nuggets, Wolves, all examples.
You think Indiana's better than Madison Square Garden?
Yes.
Are you high right now?
No.
His eyes look pretty wide open. You can see it on Facebook, YouTube, or X if you want to. But yeah, his eyes look perfectly. I mean, I don't see any signs.
You know what I'm very excited about? I'm very excited for Saturday, Bet for the Cycle on the BetQL network from noon to 4 to also inform my dear friend and colleague, Cody Decker, that Mario thinks Indiana is going to bring more noise than Madison Square freaking Garden.
Yep, 110%. I stand by it. I will stand by it on there, and I'll die on that hill. Look at the Last Dance doc. Look at the Last Dance. Where were they?
Oh yeah.
Where was Chris? When was Chris Bosh when he was on the Miami Heat? Where do you say was one of the hardest places to play? It's Indiana, guys.
And that documentary was from 19, 20? Oh, I'm sorry, 1994.
Chris Bosh, that was what, 2012, 13? I'm just saying, watch out for it. It's a very hard place to play, and people love the basketball in Indiana.
And only in Indiana. Everybody else just kind of casually dates basketball. In Indiana, only place in the world.
By the way, that's how everyone down here acts about their football. It's just different here in the South. No, it's not. It is not.
No,
it's just because
it really is though.
It's just because you live here, you think it's different. It's not.
Nah,
It's like Texas with football. It's like Texas with football. It's big everywhere. I don't get that, but in Indiana,
Hey Mario, how big was the football stadium you played your high school football in?
Like seats wise, it was pretty big actually.
Yeah, how big?
Let's probably 2,000-3,000 seats.
Okay,
I'm gonna guess.
That's pretty big. 2,000-3,000 seats. Yeah. Texas has got high school stadiums with 40,000 seats in it. They like football more than you.
They also have a state that has more per capita of like people than, I mean.
And I'm not comparing Indiana football to Texas football. I'm saying the parallels of Texas football and Indiana basketball is the same. Do you know who the two biggest high school stadiums are in basketball are, Rob Brown? They're both in Indiana. They sell out.
Bet for the Cycle airs on Saturdays from noon to 4. Ordinarily, it's me and Cody Decker with Mario. This Saturday, it's going to be me and Cody Decker against Mario on the same show. Hating ass Mario Heron here is the executive producer of that show, as well as an NBA analyst for the BetQL Network. Kinda thanks for coming by, buddy.
It's always a pleasure. Happy draft day. Happy NBA playoffs. And Gamebridge is going to be rocking.
Happy draft day, Bubba. We'll talk to you next Thursday or next Wednesday, pardon me.
Or Saturday. He'll talk.
I'll talk to you.
He'll talk to you Saturday.
You know what I mean.
It's okay.
Hating ass Mario. We're back after this for Fight Club on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Nice work, partner.
Always,
got him.
Always
minus that one tragic take.
He appears to be very frustrated in the heat.
The heat's getting to him.
I got pit sweats over here. Bad.
The heat gets to you and Joe Mazzulla. Two people. Two biggest weaknesses.
How is this playoffs between Willie Green, Joe Mazzola, Doc Rivers, Ham? This playoffs is full of coaches who just cannot handle heat. It's incredible.
Not even a little bit. And have you heard about like Joe Mazzulla's like fighting stuff he uses?
No.
Yeah, he does jiu-jitsu to put him in pressure situations to think of clear ways out of it. It's clearly not working. Try something new.
He does know that's a different thing than basketball. Like maybe he should use basketball to teach them how to handle basketball situations.
Yeah. Look it up sometime. He's got some crazy stories. But I gotta head out and get ready for
all right, big dog. Appreciate you, man. See you Saturday.
I'll see you guys.
Later, buddy. I like Mario. He's good people.
I do have to wonder, though. You bring these people on, and you think that they're going to be on your side.
No, I don't.
And they're not. I
don't.
Okay.
I'm willing to fight.
I think you think they will at least be against me, but
you're only on his team because
his hair is amazing.
Okay, you're on his team for two reasons.
Yeah, I mean, let's just face it. Reminds me of a young me. It's been doing that. I don't know.
Excellent joke, Bubba Brooks 86. Also, if you're still here, Slauson, appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
It's a little racy for
appreciate you coming by.
Just saying.
I love it. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic joke.
But I still think it's a little racy.
When I was at the airport for the Eclipse a month ago, they had a guy out in the courtyard playing live music while it was happening. And he was playing singer-songwriter stuff on an acoustic guitar.
I was going to say that's fitting, I think. Either that or just
for-
a keyboard with just some weird
Except
stuff.
for right when the Eclipse hit its peak, turned on a boombox and played Total Eclipse of the Heart over it.
Well,
I was
yeah.
like, that's the kind of cheap humor I appreciate. Get the cheap pop, bro.
How loud were you singing?
I wasn't. I was locked in on the Eclipse. I'm a dork.
Okay, so you weren't just, what? So you can't watch and talk at the same time? I mean, at least sing the turnaround parts.
Take control of your listening experience with Rewind on the Odyssey app. Listen to jaw-dropping moments, no worries. Odyssey app makes it easy. You can relive big moments from Rob Brown, Jim Rome, and more. This update, just hit Rewind with the Odyssey app on the Fan Upstate. Just don't think it's good to be. My style is impeccable. I want your heart. I want any truth. I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Welcome into the Fight Club, where we take this stuff serious. We do, especially if an owner of a team gets hurt. And I didn't want to start there, but I think I will. So last night on AEW Dynamite, the scapegoat returned, and as predicted, became a member of the Elite. That would be one Jack Perry, who wants to use real glass. Thank you, CM Punk. And met Tony Khan in the middle of the ring at the end of the show. Knew something was going to happen, and he punched Tony in the gut. And then the Elite proceeded to pile drive him into the mat, and his Diddy came out. It's bad when you're in a fight, it's professional or otherwise, and your Diddy comes out. Because his Diddy was worried.
I need y'all to start saying dad or daddy or papa or father.
Obviously, I'm doing it sarcastically. Yeah, let's face it. Shad Khan is probably a father. He probably calls him father. Wouldn't you think? I don't know.
Yes, father.
But his mustache looked so serious. I was for a moment thought, hey, maybe Tony Khan really got hurt because he doesn't know what he's doing, and he didn't sell it correctly. And let's face it, the move that you're going to allow your employees to do to you, that's not the one you go with. I don't recall ever seeing Tony Khan in the ring before in this capacity.
Was his first bump.
Yeah, and so let's do like the most possible worst thing that could like break my neck and kill me. It does show a lot of trust in the people who are doing it, but good for him. And I believe that this is their way of covering up playing the tape. And I think this was his long-term storytelling idea all along. And I think it worked. And
I haven't watched it yet. So that's part.
So much criticism for showing the CM Punk backstage, and was hoping all along that it would work to progress a storyline. And I think it has. Something that they don't do enough, especially with MJF not there. And it works. The problem is, how do you end it? Does it just go away? Because Tony Khan is not going to wrestle. He will look more awkward than Michael Cole in the ring. It's just not. He can't.
First off, Michael Cole's undefeated at WrestleMania.
He is. He is very
Second
much
off,
so.
Here's the Punk thing, the video thing. There was criticism, sure. I think it fell into, I think for just about everybody, the reaction to it fell into what camp you were in. If you were a WWE guy, it totally exonerated CM Punk. If you're an AEW guy, it made Punk look as bad as you thought he was going to. And if you're somebody like us who likes both and wants both to succeed, then you went, all right, like
right.
I can see it either way.
But
So
do you not agree that they're using this in the right way, whether it was a mistake or not to
I
play
haven't
it?
seen the segment yet, so I don't know. I don't know what the lead up was. Here's what I do know. Jack Perry does nothing for me. He does nothing for me. He's not good on the mic to me. He's a very average wrestler. He worked great when he was Jungle Boy paired up with Luchasaurus because you let Luchasaurus
and
do a
that
bunch
other
of
little
cool
guy
crap.
whose name everyone
Stunt.
Yeah,
Stunt.
Marco. Yeah,
even that, like you were fine when you had Jurassic Express. It made sense. You let most of the heavy lifting be done by Luchasaurus. As an individual guy and as a mic guy, he's just not that compelling. I get the story you're trying to put down. I'm fine with it. The company needs to work on storylines and get better at the storylines, and that's all good. I'm fine with them taking a bump. And listen, it's not like the groundwork for boss gets directly involved in a feud hasn't been laid down a billion times by every promoter who's ever run a company. Paulie Dangerously, VKM, He Who Shan't Be Named, etc., have all done this angle.
What's her name from TNA?
Dixie Carter.
Dixie Carter.
TNA.
Yeah, sorry, I can't remember names anymore.
Every one of them has done some sort of angle in this direction. It's not like they don't have inspiration and ideas to draw off of that don't require Tony to be a competitor. You can do a hostile takeover angle where the EVPs are trying to force Tony out so it can be their company, and Tony's got to rally all the baby faces. Like, the angles are fine.
All right, so the angle continued afterwards on digital, and if you get a chance, you should watch it. What Jack Perry said, followed by what the Young Bucks said. And I think it added to the story also. Jack Perry said, you took 8 months away from my career. And then the Elite basically said, this is how the company should be run. And this is how it's going to be going forward, as if they're going with a hostile takeover angle, which is it's a good angle. Again, we've seen it happen before with Shane and with Stephanie. So we've seen it happen in that company and in other companies too. So, I mean, it's wrestling, and I think they can do a lot with this. One thing they cannot do a lot with, and I'm not trying to pile on because I just saw this. Apparently, according to a bunch of sites, AEW is hiring seat fillers.
Are you wait? You're gonna skip right over the connection to the draft from what happened last night?
Oh yeah, my bad.
The best thing that I was saying about this segment today?
You're right. In the interest of time, I'm trying to squeeze too many things.
We can go late on this segment. I'll take the heat. It's draft day.
Yeah,
this is a draft story.
Your heat will be my heat, and I'm not. Okay, fine. So
it's a hostile takeover.
The NFL put out a statement. Basically,
the
NFL, due to the fact that Tony Khan was attacked by the Young Bucks last night, they're not sure that he's going to be available for the draft. That's and it's great. It works really well. It does.
I was looking at that on their website, on the news section of the NFL website, is this headline. The Jaguars currently hold the number 17 overall pick. Whether head coach Doug Peterson and general manager Trent Baalke can count on Tony Khan recovering from the heinous attack by Perry and the Young Bucks on Wednesday in Duval remains to be seen. That is an official news headline
You know
on
why?
the NFL's website.
You know why? I don't know if you knew this, and you can tell that other show in the afternoon because as The Rock said, wrestling is cool. That's what he said.
Professional wrestling is cool.
I pushed the wrong button.
Yeah, that's all right.
My loins have been tingling.
I pushed the right button.
There you go. That was definitely intentional.
What's up, man?
So also speculation, and hope this is true, that Tony Khan shows up in the neck brace. He's got, I mean, you're going to sell it. You got to sell it. The NFL is helping you sell the kayfabe here. You've got to go all the way.
Yeah, and if the NFL put out legitimately a push notification about Tony Khan being jumped by the Young Bucks and Jack Perry, they're obviously, why wouldn't they be? Everybody loves wrestling. Travis Kelce had a WrestleMania moment. Everybody.
Jason Kelce.
Jason Kelce. The football world and every Raw, there's the local NFL team has like the whole offensive line front and center.
Not to mention those sweet belts.
Those two worlds have bled over into each other so much that the NFL is now willing to buy into a kayfabe storyline on their official news website. I got zero doubt if he wants to, they would let could you imagine him coming out to announce pick 17 with Raj in like a neck brace and on a crutch and utilize that to cut a 5-second promo on the Young Bucks?
Can he do it without laughing? That's what I
man.
want to know, because he always has that kind of lost look on his face. So if he has his normal look, that's fine.
Here's the thing.
And when they show him in the war room, he's got to make sure he sells it. He can't move his head. He's got to move his whole body when he's turning. In a neck brace, you got to do it that way.
This angle only works. One of the things I have loved about AEW is the wrestling's great. And part of the reason why is Tony Khan is a wrestling fan who happened to hit the genetic lottery and be born to a billionaire so he could start a company just for the lulz. And that's great. Good for him. What a lucky son of a biscuit he is. All right. That's great. This angle only works if he can drop the corny, goofy, fun-loving, all these guys are my friends act. This is, you know what this is great for? This is great. I've been told this my whole life. If you want to have a personality change, the most important thing you can do is act like what you want to become. And the more you act it, the more you will become it. Tony Khan has got to act in this angle as if he is now a serious, badass boss who is fighting for his company and his life. And hopefully that'll bleed over into his actual owning of the company.
Last question on this. Who do you think is his savior? Is it going to be Omega or is it going to be MJF?
I do not think it is coincidental that Tony Omega. I do not think it is coincidental that Kenny Omega is returning this Friday. I don't think that's coincidental. I think there's nobody who can kind of help him understand, learn, and fight back against the Young Bucks than a guy who was in the Elite with them. And I don't think he's alone. I think you can end up with
Hangman has been suspended, and now they have 4 guys in the Elite. There's always only 4. So Hangman's probably out of that too.
Sure.
So, and you bring back those guys, you bring MJF back. I mean, there's just a lot of things you could do with it. It's really cool. I'll skip the seat thing because you don't want to talk about it. That's fine. Plus, we're running out of time, whether you're going to take the heat or not. WWE has been doing something sneakily, and I don't know if anyone's noticed because it hasn't been as publicized as it has been in the past. There's been roster releases. Did you know that?
Yeah. Our boy Cameron Grimes is going to the unemployment line.
There have been 7 so far. Cameron Grimes was the latest.
Yep.
It started with Jinder Mahal on the 19th. Also Zion Quinn. If you're not an NXT guy, you probably don't know who Zion Quinn is. But Xia Li got released. She was one of my favorite wrestlers.
I love Xia Li.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where they went wrong with Xia Li. Xia Li as a face was white hot over. She was one of the few that came up to do like test matches in the big roster, and she got over with that. They tried to turn her face and turn her heel, and she just does not have that developed yet. I think they tried to push her to the other side too quickly. She's going to land somewhere and be good. I could absolutely see her picked up as an AEW wrestler.
All right. Veer and Sangha both got released, which is not a surprise because that's, who Jinder Mahal was managing. And then Von Wagner, who they tried so much with him. He just never really worked. And I think it was his mic work.
You think?
Yeah.
You think it was?
With the storyline they used, showing the pictures of him as a kid, being made fun of because he had to have skull surgery and all that kind of stuff. If you have a more personable wrestler in there, that guy's over big time.
For sure.
But he just can't talk. And that's I hate that for someone, for anyone, that's the thing that doesn't work for them. He needs to be somewhere wearing a mask and just coming out and just beating people up and not having to talk.
There are some guys.
He needs to be Abyss. Remember Abyss?
There are just
never
some
talked.
guys who just need to come out, kick ass, and leave. Remember, there was a stretch there. That's what it was for Roman. He was come out, beat ass, leave. And that was the whole thing. That's what that guy's got to be. He is, I'm sad to say, he's a charisma vacuum. You gave him arguably the most sympathetic babyface story that they have given anybody in a decade and a half. And he has such a charisma vacuum that it was hard to root for a guy whose story was, I had developmental issues, major brain surgery. I was bullied as a kid, and I had to teach myself how to be this guy. and I still couldn't get behind him.
All right. Speaking of us actually getting behind someone as we go I had a bunch of other stuff, but we got to go so we can squeeze in those last two picks. Congratulations not to Becky Lynch, because I think that's lazy and she's just a placeholder, and her contract's almost up and she was probably due another championship before it's over. But congratulations to South Carolina Gamecock Trick Williams.
Whoop that trick!
Your new NXT champion, knocking off Ilya Dragunov. So happy about that. It was awesome.
For those of you that wonder why we have talked about this guy, it is because, as Lonzo mentioned, he is a former South Carolina Gamecock. You may have known him better as Matrick Belton when he played wide receiver for that school, played there back in 2015.
I'm gonna go 16, but yeah, it's still fairly recent.
Yeah, fairly recent. Played for South Carolina as a wide receiver. Matrick Belton. Now he is known as Trick Williams at NXT. Was alongside Carmelo in the Trick Mello gang. Mello turned on him. He won the NXT title, which means that, top of my head, could be wrong, South Carolina now holds more wrestling professional championships than Clemson does. The rivalry upgrades.
I got to agree with that.
We got the final two picks, San Francisco and Kansas City on the clock, and then we wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Ooh, headphones could be really warm when it's really warm in a place. I don't know why you guys are thanking him. He didn't really fix anything. It didn't work. Everyone is thanking someone for fixing the air. And it's like, really? I'm still sitting there sweating. That's all. I mean, you know. I actually have a picture of Abyss in the Nerd Cave.
Is it John Cena?
It could be.
Is it John Cena?
That was the first poster I put up because it bothered somebody else in the office, and then things grew from there. Someone gave it to me, and it's autographed, and that's the only pay-per-view I've ever been to. I've been to house shows. I've been
That's
to.
the one that's in there, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only pay-per-view I've ever been to. It was at the Well, but it was there was false advertising because it wasn't their fault. There was supposed to be a barbed wire match between Abyss and I think it was Kurt Angle, but they couldn't do it because of the blood and the South Carolina law, and the law has changed since then, but they couldn't do it because of that. Obviously, the law has changed since then. AEW was in Columbia.
John Moxley was in Columbia.
Yeah.
All right, we wrap up the Rob Brown Show mock draft with picks number 31 and 32. Your two Super Bowl contenders from last year, two of the front runners for Super Bowl contenders this year. We go to number 31. The San Francisco 49ers are on the clock. And ladies and gentlemen, the pick is in. With the 31st overall selection of the 2024 Rob Brown Show mock draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle from the University of Oklahoma.
Tyler Guyton, tackle, Oklahoma. Only a 3-star recruit out of high school, Guyton made tremendous strides at TCU and later at Oklahoma. At 6'7" and 328 pounds, his size alone makes it difficult for rushers to get around the edge. Coupled with lateral quickness and reach, Guyton has the makeup of a talented NFL tackle. Despite the natural ability, he is prone to inconsistency and may need time to develop under NFL coaching.
Ain't no doubt about that. Another one of those guys that, to me, it feels like he is built for the job, but it feels like he is going to have to be coached in to the job. He can play on either side of the line. He is a very quick guy, can be used as a pull tackle, can also be used as a lead blocker. You can run off of him, pull a guard in behind him, get him off the edge, and expect him to be a good lead blocker out at the second or third level. He's got good hands. He is very good in terms of technique in the pass block. So what are the downsides? Why is he all the way down here? The answer is he is tall and he plays that way. My dude is 6'8", 322 pounds. Now, 6'8" can still work just fine. In fact, should work just fine as an offensive tackle. 6'8" standing straight up does not. There's an old adage for battles across the line of scrimmage. Low guy wins. Tough to be the low guy at 6'8". It is tough to be the low guy at 6'8". So with that being said, he's going to have to learn how to lower the shoulder pads. He's going to have to learn to get down in his stance. He's going to have to learn to be a bit more accurate when he's hitting in a block. You can't get the hand on the shoulder and expect you're just going to push a pro NFL defensive lineman to the inside. You are going to have to get more accurate with the hands. He's going to have to get stronger. Despite going 6'8" and checking in at like 320 pounds, his bench press is not good. In fact, I know that because it is the only workout that he did not do at the combine. He did not do the bench. And the speculation, and I hate to say that I believe it, but I do. The speculation is because he would have been disappointing in that exercise. And that's why he did not do it. He is going to be a guy that is going to have to find, as an offensive line coach once said to me, find his anchor. He's going to have to learn how to take his positioning, claim his space, and hold it. If he can do that, he could be very, very good. Let's go now to number 32. Your reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions. Put the ones up and acknowledge them, and please do not disrespect them. It is the Kansas City Chiefs, and the pick is in. Lonzo, you were the hardest team to pick for in round one at 32.
I was going to say, you already spoiled earlier that you couldn't decide. So you're going to have to decide, though. We've got like 7 minutes left in this show. So
Xavier Legette, wide receiver, South Carolina.
Goes down the field, left side, and it's going at the 35-yard line. And it's Legette running away for the second one of the night. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown, Xavier Legette. Are you kidding me? Boom, 75 yards.
Xavier Legette made little noise for most of his time at South Carolina, but broke out in his senior season with 71 catches and over 1,200 yards. He has rare physical tools with great size and speed. At 6'3", 227 pounds, he ran a 4.3 40-yard dash at the combine. Some scouts worry that he may have been a one-year wonder, but Legette's measurables are undeniable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk this one out. Let's talk this one out, Zoe. Let's talk this one out. It's your team. Let's talk this one out. First off, Todd Ellis is phenomenal. Can I just tell you how much that guy's won me over? The voice of the game.
Has he? Because I thought you were going to make fun of Todd.
No. He's got that gruff football voice. He's like the Jesse Ventura of college football, brother. He has won me over. I wasn't a huge fan when I got here. 4 years later, he has won me over. I love Todd Ellis. Second, let's talk about this player. 6'3", talked about that. They list him as 6'1". I'm going to say 6'2". Goes 221. One of the more, let's say, built wide receivers in this class. He is physical. He is stout. You heard the question. Is he a guy or is he a one-year wonder?
That's definitely a concern because I got to admit, when he broke out last year, I forgot he was still there. And it's because he would catch a pass here or there, and that was it. But last year, he was definitely a focal point. The thing is, if he's just a guy who catches a pass here or there, that's okay in Kansas City.
Yesterday,
as long as he actually catches the ball, that's okay.
James said, this is a cheap pop. James said, I just pulled the wrestling equivalent of walking into a house show wearing the jersey of the local team to get a little love.
Who's James pulled for?
The Atlanta Braves, according to his profile.
Yeah, I meant college team.
I don't think it is. The debate here for me has been on since yesterday morning about who I was going to take here. It's a wide receiver. Now, this team could go offensive line, specifically tackle, right? Yes. The offensive tackle for the team the last 2 years has been not great.
Yeah, it's not. Well,
I could see
we shouldn't know who they are, and we do every single game, unfortunately.
The only reason I should know your offensive tackle's name is because he was in the Pro Bowl defending my quarterback last year. Right? Like, that's the only reason I should know your OT's name. I know the offensive tackles for the Kansas City Chiefs, and it ain't because they were in the Pro Bowl last year. They could go offensive tackle. Here's the interesting thing to me. This is not a super deep draft when it comes to start-ready tackles. It's full of prospects. A lot of guys that are going to need some polish. A lot of guys that are going to get into the league, and they're going to need to be coached up to the next level.
And by the way, with those tackles and the problems that they exhibited throughout the season, the Chiefs still won the Super Bowl.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did. So if you want to keep those guys, you know what you're going to have to deal with and hope they get better, not worse. They need to go receiver here. And, of course, I'm happy with that choice.
I agree with that. I also think that, again, the debate for me.
If Ladd drops there, though, I mean, that's another possibility. But Rashad talked about when he was on the show last hour that there are a ton of receivers out there. They just really, really need to get someone with sure hands and with some speed.
My question mark here is, knowing that guys like Ladd McConkey are still on the board, is this a trade back spot for Kansas City? It feels like it is for me. It feels like there are enough good edge rushers and enough good wide receivers that it could be a trade back spot for Kansas City to grab, to grab some more capital from a team that feels desperate to get into this spot.
They have drafted really well. They really have. So they may even move up. Who knows? If they see something that they see a player that Andy Reid really wants, they'll go wherever they need to go to get them.
I don't disagree. As this draft goes, it came down to me, Xavier Legette versus Ladd McConkey. It was always going to be one of those two cats in this spot because you are correct. They need a receiver. And you are correct. They need a guy that has short hands. The issue with Xavier Legette is twofold. Number one, he's going to have to learn to separate from the press. And number two, he's got to sell routes better. He does not sell a route. He runs the route. If it's a 10 and in, he's hitting 10 and he's cutting in. He does not do anything extra to sell a cornerback to maybe get him off balance so that the cut is more effective. But I look at Ladd McConkey. He's dealt with injuries to his ankles. He had a lot of he's not a deep ball threat like Xavier Legette is, and he's a very average accelerator, which is why I've said he's a slot guy primarily, whereas Xavier Legette can be a 1 if you need him to. I'm going Xavier Legette, 32nd overall to the Chiefs. I will post my mock draft on the Fan Upstate Facebook and Twitter pages after the show is over. So make sure you check that out. If you missed any of the picks from the last 2 days, I will be live at Dave & Buster's tonight on the air with Cole and Diesel from 5 to 7 and hanging out afterwards. Please come out and say hello. And otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow to recap the NFL draft on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate later. Yeah!
He did say that. That's not what he meant, Keegan. I mean,
Sure.
yeah, it did. There was
And I was getting the go to break eyes from Lonzo, so I was trying to race through it.
there definitely was a T sound in there, and
I know.
So, okay.
I'm not arguing there wasn't.
All right.
I was.
You've been known in the past to argue about whether you said something or not. So I'm just.
Well, I got burnt twice doing that.
Yeah. I've been burnt on that before too. There's just no way I said that and went back and found it myself. Like, yep, I did.
Sure did.
It's better to defend yourself after you actually listen and know whether you said it or not. Being so critical, Keegan. It's 80 degrees in here. We made it through 2 days of it.
All right, dudes and dudettes. Got a jet. Y'all have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks for being here. Tell your friends about us. Let's grow the show. Enjoy draft night 1. We'll break it down tomorrow. Goodbye.